Su Mingwei never imagined that she would die from overwork at the age of 48. In the days after her death, she drifted about, seeing everyone's true colors. Her son-in-law and daughter-in-law felt no grief at all. Instead, they were overjoyed. That old woman's finally dead. She won't be a burden to us any longer. Her husband showed no sorrow over her passing either. He brazenly brought his mistress home. Her ailing parents-in-law did shed a few tears, yet they grieved only for the loss of her meticulous care. Looking back on her life, Su Mingwei felt nothing but ridicule and sorrow. When she was young, her stepfather harassed her. When she told her mother, she received 2 harsh slaps and was called a seductress. Because of her step-brother, her mother pulled her out of school early and sent her out to work to earn money. When she grew up and married, she devoted her whole life to her parents-in-law, her husband and her children, only to be rewarded like this. No one had ever truly loved her. Not even she herself had loved herself. She had thought whole-hearted devotion would win genuine affection, but these people simply had no hearts. If only she could start over. Unfortunately, there were no second chances. Her hands passed straight through every object. No one walking by could see her. "Do you want to live?" A cold voice echoed in her ears. "Of course I do," Su Mingwei answered without hesitation. As soon as the words left her mouth, she glanced around. No one was supposed to be able to see her. Who had spoken? "Who are you?" The unfamiliar voice ignored her question and asked another. "If you were given a chance to live your life again, would you go on as you once did?" Absolutely not. She regretted not seeing through them sooner. Decades of her life had been wasted on other people. If she could truly start over, she would be utterly selfish. She would love no one but herself. She would rather let everyone else down than let anyone hurt her again. "Very well. Your wish is granted." "How?" Su Mingwei was full of questions. The next instant, a burning sensation shot through her hand. She yelped and pulled her hand sharply back. A pot of pork rib soup simmered on the stove, steaming hot. She had brushed her hand against the lid, leaving a bright red burn mark. It was strange. After death she could touch nothing, yet now she felt real pain. Su Mingwei looked around. The dim street was gone. She stood in her own kitchen, able to touch every object around her. Bright sunlight streamed through the window, warm against her skin. Had she really come back to life? She lit up her phone screen. The date read April 8th, 3025. This is entirely fictional and bears no relation to real, world events. This year, she was 38. Joy flooded Su Mingwei. She had truly been reborn, 10 years into the past. Glancing at the pot of soup, she tossed her spoon aside. Now that she had a second life, she would not play the drudge for this family any longer. Divorce. She must get a divorce. She could not bear to stay in this house another day. Even if she ended up poor, she would live for herself instead of being the family's unpaid maid. As she turned to leave the kitchen, that cold voice spoke once more. "Host, do not rush off, and do not rush into divorce." "Who exactly are you?" Su Mingwei had forgotten to ask earlier, right before she had been sent back in time. "I am your system." "A system?" "Precisely. The Wrath system." "Welcome." "The Wrath system?" Su Mingwei had never heard of such a thing. "Yes. In your past life you wore yourself out caring for others, fell ill, and died before you turned 50. Are you willing to accept that fate?" "Of course I am not. But am I supposed to stay here and slave away for them again?" "Host, once bound to this system, you earn wrath points whenever you provoke anger in others. 1 wrath point is worth 10,000 yuan. So I get rewarded for making them angry?" "Correct." Su Mingwei's heart leaped. She had no formal education or marketable skills. She had worked in a factory for a few years after dropping out of school, then stopped working once she married. At 38, finding a decent job would be difficult. This was a chance to earn money and get back at them at the same time. Staying made sense. She would gather enough funds before walking away. She picked up the spoon she had thrown down and stirred the soup. "What are you doing? Making soup and carrying on like that?" Su Mingwei turned toward the kitchen doorway. Wang Xiufang stood there, her brows drawn tight, annoyed by Su Mingwei's earlier cry of pain. In her past life, Wang Xiufang had been in poor health, lying in bed waiting for others to wait on her. This time, Su Mingwei would see who waited on the old woman. For years she had given her far too much deference. "Do it yourself if you're so capable." Wang Xiufang stared in shock. For years her daughter-in-law had been docile, obeying every order and swallowing every scolding. She had never talked back. What did you just say? Are your ears broken? I said do it yourself if you can manage it. If not, stop nagging. You get food handed to you and still complain. How dare you act so high and mighty? Wang Xiaofang, wrath point plus 10. Hearing the system prompt, Su Mingwei rejoiced. 10 points, 100,000 yuan, for so little effort. No regular job could match that income. It was well worth it. Wang Xiaofang's temper flared. You dare answer me back when I speak to you? Yes. At home you only know how to bully me. Who else would you dare pick on? You have no real ability, only the nerve to order people around in this house. Try behaving like this outside. You would cut a pitiful figure. Why should I put up with your bad temper? Wang Xiaofang, wrath point plus 10. Another 100,000 yuan. As my son's wife, it is your duty to do household work. Why cannot I speak my mind? Even a hired maid would not endure such treatment. If you have nothing useful to say, get out of my sight. This is outrageous. A daughter-in-law speaking to her mother-in-law like this. Just you wait. When my son comes home, I will tell him every word you have said. Go ahead. I am not afraid. Wang Xiaofang, wrath point plus 2. Wang Xiaofang stormed back to the living room sofa. Deep creases folded between her brows. She could not understand why her daughter-in-law had suddenly turned so sharp-tongued. She looked the same person, yet her temper had transformed completely. Had she lost her mind? Standing there after their quarrel, Su Mingwei felt light-hearted. She had spent decades swallowing her anger. Only after dying had she realized that pushing back held no real danger. She had absolutely no reason to fear this old woman. A virtual system panel floated before her eyes. Wrath points, 22. That converted to 220,000 yuan. Su Mingwei was overjoyed. Then worry crossed her mind. System, I plan to divorce eventually. If I hold large sums of money, will there be property disputes? Host, rest assured. Rewards from the system belong solely to you. No other person may access them. Even if you transfer the funds to your personal bank card, your husband cannot view or withdraw them. Even with your card and password. Only you may access the funds. That sets my mind at ease. You have my full protection. The choice of divorce lies entirely with you. If you do not wish to divorce, no one can force you. If you later wish to divorce and your husband refuses, this system can finalize your divorce documents directly through civil affairs authorities. You will be legally separated with no further ties. Su Mingwei brightened. That is wonderful. Under current policy, divorce required a cooling-off period and could be slow to process. With the system's guarantee, she had nothing to fear. She would leave the whole family once she had earned enough money. Fragrant steam rose from the pot of pork rib soup. Su Mingwei ladled out one bowl for herself, then poured a large amount of salt into the remaining soup. For years she had cooked for the family without complaint. That version of Su Mingwei was gone. She would not serve them so easily any longer. She filled her own bowl with rice and side dishes, carried them to the dining table, and sat down to eat. Wang Xiaofang, already simmering with rage, grew angrier seeing Su Mingwei serve only herself and start eating without calling anyone else. You start eating without calling the rest of us? I am still sitting here. Wang Xiaofang, wrath point plus 3. Su Mingwei bit into a rib, not glancing her way. Haven't you got hands of your own? I cooked the meal. Serve yourself. Do you take me for your maid? Wang Xiaofang, wrath point plus 10. What has got into you today? Who upset you? Ask yourself. You have treated me like a servant for years. I owe you nothing. You are my son's wife. Doing housework is your responsibility. Call it marriage or call it being an unpaid maid. Which sounds more accurate? I gain nothing from this arrangement, yet I am expected to wait on everyone hand and foot. My son supports you. You do not work. Doing housework is only fair. How can you say such a thing? Go ask outside how much a cook or a house cleaner earns each month. My husband gives me 2,000 yuan a month. From that sum I must buy grain, oil, rice, flour, vegetables, fruit, meat for 5 people, plus daily necessities. My father-in-law's incontinence supplies alone cost a great deal every month. I stretch every coin to its limit, yet never have anything left over. Do not pretend he supports me. If I worked as a maid elsewhere, I would earn at least 4,000 or 5,000 a month. Here I work for nothing and am told it is my duty. Wang Xiaofang strode over to her side. What do you mean your family? This is your home too. If this is my home, why was my name not added to the property deed when we bought it? You treated me like an outsider from the start. Now you speak of us being one family. If this is also your home, you can take over all the housework from now on. Are you trying to drive me to madness? Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 15. Su Mingwei felt wonderfully liberated. I am only stating facts. I have no wish to anger you. Wang Xiufang glared at her for several minutes. Su Mingwei kept eating, ignoring her completely. Eventually Wang Xiufang went to the kitchen, served herself rice, and carried the pot of soup out. Unwilling to share the table with Su Mingwei, she set her food on the coffee table beside the sofa. She took one sip of the pork rib soup and spat it out at once. Su Mingwei, what is this soup? It is far too salty. Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 3. A faint smile tugged at Su Mingwei's lips. It tastes fine to me. I have always cooked it this way. Perhaps the problem lies with your taste buds. If your tongue no longer works properly, you ought to do something about it. Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 5. You did this on purpose. I say it tastes fine. It comes from the same pot. It cannot taste different for different people. If you keep behaving this way, when my son returns I will make him divorce you. Who would want you after all this? Do not wait for him. Call him right now and tell him to divorce me. I have grown tired of waiting on all of you. I would like to see who else will be your unpaid maid once I am gone. Wang Xiufang fell silent. Su Mingwei pressed on. Call him. What are you waiting for? Your threats mean nothing. Being your daughter-in-law is no great privilege. Go find any other woman off the street and ask if she would accept my life. No sensible person would agree. I would be delighted to divorce your son. Wang Xiufang thought of her bedridden disabled husband in the small back room and hesitated. Ever since Su Mingwei had married into the family, she had borne full responsibility for caring for him. Wang Xiufang herself had never lifted a finger. If Su Mingwei left, no other woman would take on such work. Burning with suppressed anger, Wang Xiufang sat back on the sofa. She poured hot water into her overly salty soup and forced herself to eat. Su Mingwei watched, amused. Wang Xiufang had grown far too accustomed to ordering others about. When she finished eating, Su Mingwei set her chopsticks down heavily on the table. You wash the dishes when you are done. The commanding tone irritated Wang Xiufang again. You want me to wash the dishes? Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 2. Do I need to repeat myself? You are going too far. You ruined the soup and now you order me to clean up. I cooked the meal and you ate it. Why should you not wash the dishes? Su Mingwei had never intended to make that meal. She had woken up Reborn in the kitchen with soup and rice already prepared. Starting tonight, however, she would not cook for the household any longer. Let whoever wanted food prepare it themselves. Then go and do the laundry. Wang Xiufang gestured toward the pile of dirty clothes on the balcony belonging to the whole family. Su Mingwei stood her ground. I have errands this afternoon. Wash them yourself. You do not work. What errands could you possibly have? I say I have things to do. I owe you no explanation. For years I have done every chore. It is your turn now. Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 3. Wang Xiufang gripped her chopsticks, staring angrily. She was furious yet powerless. In the past Su Mingwei had obeyed every instruction. Today she acted as though something had snapped inside her. Just then, a foul stench drifted out from the small back bedroom. Wang Xiufang gagged and lost all appetite for her food. Your father-in-law has soiled himself. Go change his incontinence pad at once. Su Mingwei held her nose in disgust. I will not. You tend to your own husband. Why must I do it? I have covered this duty for years. Now it falls back to you. I am going out this afternoon. This has always been your job. Who decided it must always be me? You took advantage of my good nature and dumped all the burdens on me. This work is yours. I am leaving right now. So much work left undone. Where are you going? I am getting my hair done. Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 20. Wang Xiufang flew into a rage. Getting your hair done? There is laundry piling up, your father-in-law needs care and feeding, and you run off to get your hair styled. Why not? Make sure all these chores are finished before I get back. With that, Su Mingwei stormed out and slammed the door behind her. She had barely descended 2 flights of stairs when the system prompt sounded. Wang Xiufang, wrath point plus 10. Inside the house the terrible smell lingered. Wang Xiufang cleared the leftover food into the kitchen. The stench destroyed any appetite she had left. Since Su Mingwei had abandoned the house, changing the soiled pad fell to Wang Xiufang. She forced herself into Qin Kongjian's bedroom and pulled back the quilt. The nauseating odor hit her full force and she retched. Qin Kongjian flushed with embarrassment, making garbled, incoherent noises. His legs were disabled, and he had been bedridden for a long time. Over the years his speech had deteriorated from lack of conversation. Wang Xiufang removed his soiled pad, cleaned him, fitted a fresh one, and changed the fouled bed sheets. She wore a look of unmasked revulsion the whole time. She opened the window to air the room and tied the garbage bag tightly to contain the smell. After a while Chen Kongjian moved his lips again, making muffled sounds. Wang Xiufang grew impatient. What is it now? He struggled to speak. Wang Xiufang realized he still had not been fed. In the past Su Mingwei had handled feeding him. Now that she had run off, the task fell on Wang Xiufang. Eat, eat, eat. All you do is eat and soil yourself. You are good for nothing. Chen Kongjian burned with anger yet could not form proper words, only gurgling sounds to show his frustration. Wang Xiufang went to the kitchen, filled a bowl with rice and diluted the salty leftover soup with hot water, stirring it together. She carried it back to the bedroom and fed him bite by bite. Chen Kongjian's face showed his dislike for the meal, yet Wang Xiufang paid him no mind. In her eyes, he was a helpless invalid. Receiving food to survive was enough. He had no right to complain, and she ate the same poor, quality food herself. She only fed him half a small bowl before stopping. Chen Kongjian opened his mouth again, clearly still hungry and wanting more food. Wang Xiufang snapped at him impatiently. Stop eating. That's enough for you. The more you eat, the more you soil yourself. I'll just end up with more trouble. Each diaper costs several yuan. Given our family circumstances, we can't afford for you to waste like this. Chen Kongjian felt utterly wronged. In the past, Su Mingwei had fed him, always making sure he was full. But this old woman refused to let him eat any more. Wang Xiufang carried the bowl to the kitchen, set the used tableware in the sink, and turned on the tap. For more than 10 years since her son and daughter-in-law had married, Su Mingwei had handled all these chores. Wang Xiufang had not washed dishes in a very long time, and the dishcloth felt awkward in her hands. As soon as the dirty bowl was held under running water, water splashed all over her clothes. That wretched woman. Wang Xiufang cursed as she washed the dishes, bearing down harder with her hands. This sort of work ought to be done by her daughter-in-law. Now look what happened. She finished eating and ran off, leaving behind piles of housework. Su Mingwei checked the balance in her payment app. She had a little over 1,500 yuan left. This was the monthly living allowance Qin Jianghai had given her. Today was the 8th of the month, and only a few hundred yuan had been spent so far. She was going to spend every last bit of this money today. Why scrimp and save constantly for his sake? 2,000 yuan was barely enough for the bare, minimum living expenses of the whole family. He kept a large portion of his earnings for himself, and no doubt spent plenty of it on other women. Su Mingwei walked into a hair salon, planning to get her hair done first. She sat down in the chair and stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her skin looked rough and sallow, and even she could not stand to look at herself. Once she had been young. She had not been breathtakingly beautiful, yet her face had glowed with youthful plumpness. More than 10 years of marriage to Qin Jianghai and endless household chores had taken their toll. At 38, she looked well into her 40s. What hairstyle would you like? The hairdresser asked. I want big, curl-permed hair. She had always loved curly hair, but maintaining it took time. Caring for so many family members left her almost no time for herself. From now on, she would no longer look after them. All her time, money, and energy belonged to her. Would you like to add hair color? Sure. I don't know what shade would suit me. Could you give me some recommendations? The hairdresser brought over a color swatch book and patiently explained what each shade would look like once applied. After listening, Su Mingwei chose hazelnut ash brown. I'll go with this one. It looked lovely. The end result might not be perfect, but she wanted to give it a try. If it did not suit her, she could try other colors later. For years she had never dared come to a salon. When her hair grew long, she cut it crudely with household scissors. Qin Jianghai never gave her extra money. 2,000 yuan was just enough for the family's monthly basic needs. Perming and dyeing took hours. Su Mingwei sat there for a long stretch of time. When it was finished, her hair looked quite nice, yet her dull, makeup-free skin made her feel as though her face did not match the hairstyle. How do you like the result? It's good. Perm and dye together cost 1,200 yuan. Su Mingwei paid without hesitation and left the salon. She still had a little over 300 yuan remaining. She headed to a nearby shopping mall and watched a movie. They had a television at home, but most programs required paid memberships. For years, she had refused to spend even a few dozen yuan a month on subscriptions. Sitting in the cinema, gazing at the huge screen, she felt wonderful. The movie ended around 6 o'clock in the evening. Instead of hurrying home, Su Mingwei found a restaurant inside the mall for dinner. She had just over 200 yuan left. She avoided expensive dishes while ordering, mentally tallying prices to spend nearly all her remaining cash. An elderly woman squatted by the community gate selling vegetables. Su Mingwei picked out piles of the cheapest produce and headed home carrying her bag. Down at the apartment building entrance, she ran into several neighbors heading out for a walk. She smiled and greeted them. "Aunt Wang, are you all going for a stroll?" The neighbors smiled back. "Yes. Are you coming back from grocery shopping?" "That's right. We had pork rib soup at noon, but my mother-in-law said it was too rich, so I bought some small green vegetables for tonight." The neighbors looked full of admiration. Any man would be lucky to have such a virtuous, capable daughter-in-law. "Don't say that. It's just what I ought to do," Su Mingwei replied. Their approving looks deepened. Inside, Su Mingwei felt disgusted. It was not the neighbors themselves who bothered her. What repulsed her was the widespread belief that housework naturally fell to women. Decades of hard work only earned her the label virtuous. It was not worth it at all. Back home, Wang Xiufang sat on the sofa watching television. The pile of dirty laundry sat untouched. Hearing the door open, Wang Xiufang turned around and caught sight of Su Mingwei's new hair. "You really went out and got your hair done." "So what? Jiahai works so hard for the family, and you waste money like this. Is this how a wife ought to behave?" "That's his problem. Why are you blaming me instead of him? Why do other men make ends meet more easily? He ought to look for faults in his own work attitude. Couldn't he try harder?" Wang Xiufang, anger +5, "You dare talk back when I give you a piece of my mind. Then don't give me a piece of your mind." Wang Xiufang, anger +2, "Wen Tao will be home soon. Hurry up and cook." Su Mingwei tossed the bag of vegetables at her feet. "I am not cooking any more meals. If you want food, make it yourself. I already ate outside." "You!" Wang Xiufang flew into a rage. "No dinner for the whole family, and you've already eaten out. I got my hair done, watched a movie, and had dinner while I was out. What is wrong with that?" Wang Xiufang, anger +10, "You wasteful woman. Jiahai gives you a salary so you can manage the household frugally, not to squander it outside. We are not wealthy. You go to the cinema and eat at restaurants. Those things cost a fortune. Did you blow through our whole week's grocery budget with one meal?" It was far more than a week's grocery budget. "I spent our entire monthly food budget today. 1,200 yuan just for my hair. Doesn't it look great?" At those words, tears streamed down Wang Xiufang's face. "You reckless woman. You spent that much money on hair? Do you think money grows on trees in this household?" Wang Xiufang, anger +10, "Cry all you like. I've been out running errands all day, and I'm tired. I'm going to my room to rest. Don't disturb me." Wang Xiufang, anger +3. Su Mingwei was about to walk to her bedroom when the front door opened. Chen Wentao came home from school. He stepped inside and saw his mother and grandmother standing in the living room. His grandmother was crying, and his mother looked grim. "Mom, what's going on?" "Nothing much. I went out for a stroll and upset your grandmother." Wang Xiufang pointed an accusing finger. "You know perfectly well what you have done. You refused to cook meals or wash clothes, and you blew through our monthly food budget out there. Of course I am furious." Hearing them quarrel, Chen Wentao frowned. The household had always been peaceful. Why was there such a big fight today? "All right, Mom, Grandma, stop arguing. I've had a long day of classes and I'm tired. Let's eat. We can talk this over calmly." Mention of dinner made Wang Xiufang even angrier. "Dinner? Where is dinner? Your mother gallivanted outside all day and did not prepare anything. Are we supposed to go hungry tonight?" Wang Xiufang, anger +5, Chen Wentao's face fell. "Mom, you didn't cook dinner?" Su Mingwei answered unapologetically. "No. I already ate outside. Why should I cook? If you want food, make it yourselves. I bought vegetables for you. What more do you want?" Wang Xiufang, anger +2, Chen Wentao, anger +3. Chen Wentao rarely lost his temper. He could not understand why hot meals had always waited for him after school, yet there was nothing tonight. Could a small disagreement really make his mother quarrel with Grandma? Su Mingwei was not surprised by his anger. This ungrateful boy would forget his own mother once he married in his past life. Truth be told, he had never been particularly considerate. 17-year-old and a senior high school sophomore, his personality was already set. There was no changing him. Reborn, she wanted nothing more to do with her husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, or even her own son. No one deserved her self-sacrifice. Just then, Qin Wentao's stomach rumbled. "Mom, I'm starving. Please make me something to eat." "It's not a big deal. Don't quarrel with Grandma. She is old and cannot take stress." Su Mingyue's expression turned cold. He showed no concern for his own mother, yet fussed over his grandmother. "Make it yourself. I'm worn out from being out all day." "Mom, I studied all day. You want me to cook?" "What is wrong with that? Studying all day is not some great hardship. When I was in primary school, I attended classes during the day, then gathered firewood, cooked meals, and cut pig fodder after school. I did all kinds of chores. You are already 17. Can you cook a simple meal?" Qin Wentao, anger +5 hearing the system notification. Su Mingyue felt irritation rise inside her. This boy threw a fit whenever he was asked to do the slightest bit of work, acting as if he were a spoiled rich young master. "I'm in the second year of senior high. I still need to study after dinner. Won't cooking waste my study time?" "I don't care. You will never get into a top-tier university. A junior college is about the best you can hope for." Qin Wentao, anger +10. From her past life, Su Mingyue knew exactly how poor his academic performance really was. He never studied hard at night. Instead, he read novels and played games under his covers. His grades were terrible. He scored only around 200 points on the college entrance examination. The family spent a lot of money to send him to a junior college. Even there he skipped classes frequently and learned almost nothing. After graduation, he could not land a decent job and kept asking the family for money. He could not afford to marry or start a family without constant financial support from home. Wang Xiufang could not hold back her rage. "Su Mingyue, how can you speak about your own son like that? He studies so hard. Instead of taking good care of him, you make him do housework. That will ruin his studies. You are his grandmother. You take care of him then. Why must everything fall on me? He is your own son. He is also your own grandson." Wang Xiufang, anger +5, are you determined to destroy this family? Su Mingyue spoke indifferently. "No. I want our family to get along well." "You refuse to lift a finger. Aren't you the one sabotaging our life together?" Wang Xiufang, anger +5 Qin Wentao could not bear it any longer. "Mom, please stop talking. Grandma is elderly. Why pick fights with her? Don't tell me to keep quiet. Tell Grandma to keep quiet. I only asked her to cook one dinner. Why is that too much? Am I supposed to be everyone's servant? This is our family home. We all eat meals here together. We do eat together, yet for years I have been the only one cooking. Now I choose not to. I already ate outside, so why should I prepare food for all of you? Cook if you are hungry or go without." "Mom, you are being unreasonable. You were never like this before. Get used to it. This is how I will be from now on." Qin Wentao, anger +10 with those words, Su Mingyue walked straight into her bedroom and slammed the door shut. Her phone pinged. Qin Jiahai had sent a message. "I have to work overtime tonight. I won't be home for dinner. You all eat without me." Su Mingyue sneered at the text. Working overtime was nothing but an excuse. He was definitely keeping company with some other woman. If this had happened when she was younger, Su Mingyue would have felt as though her whole world had collapsed. Not anymore. He could keep company with whoever he liked. She no longer cared. Once she had gained more ground in this household, she would file for divorce. After sending the message, Qin Jiahai set his phone down on the bedside table and leaned in towards Suna. Having worked his way up to a minor management position, he supervised Suna, a beautiful young woman in her 20s. She had fair, smooth skin and an attractive figure. Qin Jiahai was utterly captivated by her. Compared with the haggard wife at home, Suna was far more appealing. Every time he met up with Suna, he messaged Su Mingyue claiming overtime work. Su Mingyue never suspected a thing. Household chores kept her far too busy to question him. Even if he got caught someday, Qin Jiahai felt no fear. He knew Su Mingyue well. In his opinion, no other man would want her after a divorce. She might throw a tantrum, yet life would go on as before. Night had fallen. Wang Xiufang's stomach ached with hunger. Though she hated doing chores, she could not bear to see her grandson go hungry. Reluctantly, she picked up the bag of vegetables Su Mingyue had tossed onto the floor. She went into the kitchen and opened the bag. Seeing its contents, her anger flared up all over again. She shouted towards Su Mingyue's bedroom. "Su Mingyue, what kind of rubbish vegetables did you buy? These are rotten leaves. You expect us to eat this? Su Mingwei poked her head out of her bedroom. Be grateful you have anything to eat. Stop being so fussy. I bought them from an elderly vendor by the community gate for 2 yuan. Very cheap. You are always lecturing me about frugality. Now I am following your advice, and you are still unhappy. The street sold vegetables had never been fresh to begin with. Su Mingwei had picked the cheapest, poorest, quality ones. Jostling around had made them look even worse. Wang Xiufang, anger plus 15, you are deliberately trying to make us suffer. You fill your stomach outside and come home dumping rotten scraps on us. Even beggars would not accept this. Do you want to make us sick? Believe whatever you want. If you hate it so much, you can go hungry. Wang Xiufang, anger plus 20, you have gone too far. I will teach you a lesson today. Wang Xiufang stormed into the kitchen and grabbed a kitchen knife. She looked genuinely ready to attack. Su Mingwei showed no fear. She stepped out of her room and pointed toward the front door. Lay one finger on me, and I will rush outside shouting for all the neighbors to witness our family's disgrace. Wang Xiufang immediately backed down. In the past, Su Mingwei had obeyed every demand placed on her. They had had small conflicts, but Wang Xiufang always insisted they keep their quarrels private to avoid gossip. She cared more about outward reputation than anything else. Wang Xiufang threw the knife onto the floor and stamped her feet furiously. Su Mingwei, let's talk. What exactly do you want? Everything was fine before. What has gotten into you today? Have you lost your senses? Things were only fine for you because I did all the work. Now you are unhappy when you have to do a little yourselves. Why should that be? You are only in your 30s. Looking after your elders and your son is your duty. Am I supposed to do all this in my old age? You do not seem that old to me. You had plenty of strength swinging a knife a moment ago. Suddenly you claim old age when housework comes up. That is just laziness. Wang Xiufang, anger plus 10. Chen Wentao tried to mediate. Grandma, don't argue with her. Call Dad and ask him to come home. Chen Wentao could tell something was terribly wrong with his mother. In the past, hot meals and spotless laundry had always waited for him. Their home had been peaceful. Today, everything was out of order. Wang Xiufang was inclined to call her son. She hated disturbing his work, yet the household was in complete chaos. Su Mingwei stopped them right away. Don't call him right now. He is occupied with private business. Interrupting him would be highly embarrassing for him. Wang Xiufang, anger plus 30. Wang Xiufang nearly screamed. What nonsense are you spouting? He is working overtime. How dare you say such shameful things in front of your own son? Have you no decency as a mother? Why pretend? He is already 17. He understands more than you think. Besides, I am telling the truth. Your son is behaving improperly outside. While she remained his wife, he kept his misconduct hidden so someone would still run the household. In her past life, once she was gone, Qin Jianghai brought his lover straight into their home. Qin Wentao's face darkened. Mom, Dad works so hard. Instead of appreciating him, you slander him. Without his hard-earned income, how could you live comfortably at home? Would you like this so-called comfortable life? You refuse even to cook one simple meal, yet you claim I have it easy. Did food drop from the sky? Who washed all your clothes? Who mopped the floors? Who looked after grandfather? Who bought all our daily supplies? It is ridiculous for you to brush aside every bit of work I have done by calling my life comfortable. All these family matters are trivial. Compared to Dad's work, they are hardly challenging at all. Come on, don't go to school tomorrow. Stay home for one day and do all the chores. Let me see if you'd still call it easy. Wang Xiufang pulled her grandson behind her to shield him. Wentao, don't listen to your mother. She's lost her senses right now. You don't need to worry about anything at home. Just focus on your studies, and life will get easier once you get into a good university. Heh, an illiterate person is lecturing others here. How do you know life gets easier after college? Who told you that studying for more than 10 years can change your fate? Look at your grandson's grades. He can't even get into an ordinary undergraduate university. All he does is read novels and play games. What future do you expect for him? You're talking nonsense. Wentao studies so hard, staying up late reading every night. As his mother, you have no sympathy for him. He's your own flesh and blood. After Wang Xiufang finished speaking, Chen Wentao lowered his head slightly behind her, looking guilty. He had been telling the family he stayed up studying every night, but that was not the truth. Coming home each evening was what he looked forward to most, because he could lock himself in his room and read novels. Novels were far more interesting than textbooks, and he could never put them down, staying up deep into the night. Games were also great fun. Everything seemed more appealing than studying. Su Mingwei had carried Chen Wentao for 10 months before giving birth to him. In her past life, she had loved him unconditionally. But after dying once, she understood that no one was worthy of her blind devotion. What difference did blood ties make? When she grew old, Chen Wentao and his wife had treated her with nothing but disgust. They had even rejoiced when she passed away. Why should she pour her care into such a son? She ought to devote that energy to herself instead. Chen Wentao tugged gently at Wang Xiufang's sleeve from behind her. Grandma, stop arguing for now. Let's figure out dinner first. I still have some pocket money in my school bag. We can go out and get a bowl of noodles. Hearing her grandson's words, Wang Xiufang flew into another rage. Wang Xiufang, anger +5. Su Mingwei, look at what kind of mother you are. You won't even cook for your child, and you've spent all this month's food money. Now your own son has to use his pocket money to buy food. How can you live with yourself? I truly can't. How about you two skip dinner and save that pocket money for me instead? Wang Xiufang, anger +10. Chen Wentao, anger +5. Chen Wentao's eyes reddened when he heard this, not out of sorrow, but fury. Mom, what has gotten into you? You weren't like this before. If something is upsetting you, just say it, and we can work it out together. Why are you behaving so recklessly? Do you have to turn this whole household upside down just to feel satisfied? That's right. I enjoy seeing this family thrown into chaos. This old woman and this boy were really something. They refused to lift a finger to do anything themselves, yet took other people's labor for granted. The moment someone refused to keep sacrificing, they claimed there was something wrong with that person. Su Mingwei saw nothing wrong with her own actions. Why should she keep giving endlessly, only to end up with such a miserable fate in return? Anyone would be filled with resentment in her position. Wang Xiufang, anger +10. Chen Wentao, anger +20. Wang Xiufang stamped her thigh in fury. You've really gone mad. Yes, exactly. I have gone mad. Don't provoke either of you from now on, or don't blame me for acting out. With that, Su Mingwei walked back into her room and slammed the door shut. Chen Wentao stared at the closed door, his anger still burning inside him. Grandma, let's go get something to eat first. Wang Xiufang could not bear to let her grandson go hungry, so she agreed at once. They had argued so long that supper had slipped completely out of reach. Su Mingwei truly refused to take care of anything. Were they supposed to starve? Fine, let's get something to eat. I'll also call your father and tell him to wrap up his work and come home as soon as possible. Okay. Wang Xiufang still refused to believe her son was seeing another woman outside. He worked so hard. How could he possibly have time for such things? It was all Su Mingwei making up lies. Even if there really was another woman, it would only be because Su Mingwei was unattractive and inconsiderate. Every problem was Su Mingwei's fault. They arrived at a noodle shop outside the residential compound, and Chen Wentao ordered 2 bowls of green vegetable and egg noodles. Grandma, this will have to do. I don't have much pocket money left, so I can't afford bowls with extra meat. Wang Xiufang's heart ached. She looked at her grandson with deep guilt. You've had such a hard time, all because of your mother. She leaves you with no food to eat. You're still growing. How can you go hungry? Sigh. Chen Wentao was confused by Su Mingwei's strange behavior. Everything had been normal before, yet she had suddenly changed completely. She refused to do any housework and kept picking fights with the family. Qin Jiahai picked up his ringing phone while he was spending private time with Su Na. The phone kept buzzing on the nightstand, and he ignored it, growing irritated by the noise. Su Na frowned, feeling annoyed. He should have turned his phone off beforehand. The interruption ruined the mood. The call automatically ended with no answer. Chen Wentao grew worried. How busy could work be that he could not pick up for so long? Did your dad not answer? No. He must be busy. Call him again. Wang Xiufang hated to disturb her son's work, but the situation left them no choice. If Su Mingwei kept behaving this way, how could they carry on living? A few minutes later, Chen Wentao dialed Qin Jianghai's number once more. Su Na heard the ringtone again and pushed him away irritably. Go deal with your family business first. No one but his family would be calling at this hour. Qin Jianghai finally paused, leaning against the headboard to catch his breath. Seeing the caller ID, he quickly answered. His son rarely called this late at night. Something must have gone wrong at home. Wentao, what's the matter? Dad, are you busy right now? Very busy. He was annoyed at being so abruptly interrupted. Chen Wentao could hear the irritation in his father's tone, but he assumed it was only because work had been disturbed. What exactly happened? Dad, I know you're busy, and I hate to bother you. But everything at home is falling apart. If you've finished your work, could you come back as soon as you can? Mom changed completely after going out earlier today. She started quarreling with Grandma. She didn't cook dinner at all. She ate outside by herself. Grandma and I had to eat at a small restaurant near the gate. Annoyance flared in Qin Jianghai. What tantrum was Su Mingwei throwing now? Was she upset about the message saying he would work overtime tonight? That could not be it. He had given the same excuse many times before. Why throw a fit today of all days? Wang Xiufang held out her hand toward Chen Wentao. Give me the phone. I'll talk to him. Chen Wentao handed over the phone obediently. Jianghai, finish whatever you're doing and get home quickly. Your wife needs to be brought under control, or we cannot go on like this. She flew off the handle for no reason today. Your father soiled the bed, and she refused to clean him up or feed him. Piles of dirty laundry are left untouched. She went out, spent more than 1,000 yuan getting her hair permed, ate dinner out alone, and won't lift a finger for any household chores. Wang Xiufang exaggerated the day's events for her son. Qin Jiahai grew even more frustrated. How could this happen? She used to handle all these things perfectly well. I have no idea. She just snapped, acting like she's lost her mind. Wang Xiufang's voice trembled with agitation. All right. I understand. I will head home as soon as I finish my work here. Su Na knew he would have to leave upon hearing his reply. They had not finished their time together, and her mood soured further. Go on, get back to your family. Don't let your wife get more upset. Qin Jianghai leaned toward her again. I don't want to leave, but there really is trouble at home. His elderly father had soiled the bed, and Su Mingwei refused to care for him. This tantrum was serious. If he did not go home and calm things down, there would be no peace in the household. How could he enjoy himself outside if everything at home was in chaos? Save your explanations. But I need to explain. I haven't had real feelings for that woman for a long time. I haven't been close to her in ages. You are the only one in my heart, I swear. I don't believe a word you say. Every word is true. If I lie to you, may I never make a fortune for the rest of my life. Su Na frowned again. Fine. Go home right now. If family calls interrupt us again, I will never speak to you again. Qin Jianghai smiled and kissed her cheek. Don't worry. I will sort everything out at home, and this will never happen again. He was annoyed by the interruption, yet he could not ignore his family's crisis. After leaving the hotel, Qin Jianghai drove straight home. On the way, thinking about everything he had heard over the phone, irritation gnawed at him. Still, he thought he understood what was going on. Su Mingwei must feel neglected by him, so she was throwing a scene to get his attention. That was how women behaved. Even so, she ought not to abandon his elderly parents. How could any real mother leave her own son without supper? Wang Xiufang and Qin Wentao returned home after eating their noodles. Su Mingyue's bedroom door stayed tightly shut. A foul smell drifted out from Qin Kongjian's room. Wang Xiufang wrinkled her nose at once. No guesswork needed. He had soiled himself again. Qin Wentao's face twisted with disgust as he caught the odor. Grandpa has had another accident. Wang Xiufang held her nose. Go back to your room and study. Don't worry about your grandfather. I will change his diaper later. Wang Xiufang hated this unpleasant work. Su Mingwei had always taken care of it before. Now that Su Mingwei refused to do anything, the task fell back onto her shoulders. Stepping into Qin Kongjian's room, Wang Xiufang grumbled nonstop. I told you not to eat so much. Now you've made a mess again, creating more trouble for me. Can you be less of a nuisance? Qin Kongjian mumbled indistinctly, voicing his distress. He could not help his loss of bowel control, trapped immobile in bed. Yet he could not form coherent words to make himself understood, only uttering garbled sounds. Wang Xiufang put on a fresh diaper for him, tossed the soiled one into the trash bag and tied it shut, then opened the windows to air out the room as she had done at noon. After a while, the stench faded somewhat. Qin Kongjian opened his mouth toward her. Wang Xiufang was already worn thin with impatience. What do you want now? He opened his mouth wide and made swallowing gestures, trying his best to convey what he needed. Wang Xiufang suddenly remembered. She and her grandson had gone out for noodles, but the old man lying in bed had not been fed at all. Yet there was no food in the house. If there had been, they would not have eaten out late at night. Your daughter-in-law threw a fit and wouldn't cook. You'll go hungry tonight. What good does feeding you do? You only make more work for me after eating. The old woman intended to let him starve. From her words, it sounded as if she wished he would pass away soon. Qin Kongjian twisted his body weakly in bed to show his anger. Wang Xiufang paid him no mind. Once she finished changing him, she walked out of the room and slammed the door hard. Chen Kongjian let out a few hoarse cries, but nobody came. The room lapsed into silence. When Chen Jianghai walked through the front door, a faint foul odor made him wrinkle his brow. His father's poor health was nothing new, yet he had never smelled such a stench coming from the house before. It really was true. Su Mingwei had stopped taking care of everything. Mom, what exactly happened? Seeing her son, all of Wang Xiufang's pent-up grievance spilled over. I told you everything over the phone. Your wife is acting crazy on purpose to make us miserable. She's locked herself in that bedroom. Go talk some sense into her. Chen Jianghai set down his bag and walked to the bedroom. Su Mingwei leaned against the headboard, playing a small game on her phone, not glancing at him even once. Her newly permed hair was obvious to see. Su Mingwei had heard him enter the house, yet she pretended otherwise and kept playing her game. This man had rushed straight over after leaving another woman's side, without even taking a shower. She could pick up hints of that on him the second he walked in. Mom told me you've been quarreling at home. You won't cook, won't wash clothes, and refuse to look after Dad. Is that true? His accusatory tone annoyed Su Mingwei deeply. He himself had committed serious wrongs, yet he acted as if all the blame rested on her. Yes. So what? I am not this family's live-in maid. Why should I be forced to do all these chores every single day? She showed not a shred of remorse. Anger stirred in Chen Jianghai. Chen Jianghai, anger +3. Still, picking a fight would only make her refuse to do the housework even more, leaving the whole household in chaos. Chen Jianghai sat down on the edge of the bed and forced himself to sound patient. Are you upset because I've been working overtime lately and haven't given you enough attention? I have no choice. I am the sole breadwinner for this whole family. How would we survive if I didn't work so hard? Su Mingwei set down her phone and stared straight at him. You know perfectly well whether you are truly working. Don't lie to my face. A flicker of guilt crossed Chen Jianghai's heart. He kept his composure all the same. He had hidden his affairs well. Su Mingwei could not possibly know. You're letting your imagination run wild. Work really has kept me busy. I can give you my employees' phone numbers if you want. Call and ask them yourself. You would dare give me those numbers, which means you've already coached them on what to say. There is no point in me calling. Chen Jianghai would never make such an offer unless he had already coordinated stories with certain staff members. Those people were no better than he was. Having lived through her previous life, Su Mingwei knew every detail. She had no desire to listen to Chen Jianghai's excuses. She was thoroughly disillusioned with him. When the day of their divorce came, she would feel not an ounce of sorrow for him. Chen Jianghai frowned slightly. We have been married for years, and our son is nearly grown. Don't you trust me at all? You ought to know whether you are worthy of trust. Why ask me? Chen Jianghai, anger +3. The atmosphere turned tense. Chen Jianghai snapped back to reality. He had hurried home to question her about refusing to do housework. Somehow the conversation had turned on to his own misdeeds. If they kept arguing like this, he might slip up and expose himself, and that would bring far bigger trouble. We are talking about why you quarreled with Mom. You cannot invent false accusations just because you are upset. Didn't Mom already tell you everything? What else is there to ask? It is exactly as she described. She did not even bother defending herself, simply admitting to it. Su Mingwei, what has become of you? Tell me what is bothering you, and I will try to fix it. Mom is old, and Dad is in poor health. Do not take your frustrations out on them. Wentao is studying for his future. Don't let household chaos ruin his studies. What will become of him if he cannot get into a good university? Su Mingwei let out a cold laugh. How ridiculous. Those are your parents. You never lift a finger for them and dump all the burden onto me. Wentao is also your son. I never see you caring about his studies. Why does every single responsibility fall onto my shoulders? I have my job to attend to, as you well know. I am the one supporting this household. Not just this household. There is another person you are supporting out there as well. Chen Jianghai, anger +10. He shot up from the bedside, open fury written across his face. I told you I'm working overtime at the office. It's not what you think. Can you stop throwing a fit? Work is already stressing me out enough. I don't have the energy for anything else. Me throwing a fit? Huh, fine then, get out. I can't throw a fit all by myself. Chen Jianghai froze. What did you say? I told you to get out. Chen Jianghai, anger value +15, this is my house. You're telling me to leave. Su Mingwei heard it clearly. He had said my house, not our house. Deep down, he drew a clear line. He always believed this house belonged to him, and she was just an outsider. Very well, I'll leave then. I've long since had enough of this lousy place. With that, Su Mingwei swung her legs over the edge of the bed and headed for the door. Qin Jianghai grabbed her wrist. Stop this, okay? I really am swamped with work. Once things calm down, I'll take a few days off and stay home to spend time with the family. I don't need you to keep me company. Just go do whatever you have to do and leave me alone. How am I supposed to focus with you carrying on at home? Then you stay home and look after them yourself. Are you deliberately making things difficult for me? That's not what I meant. You're their biological son. Isn't it only right you look after your parents? Why should everything fall on me? I know you've been carrying the whole household on your shoulders, and I'm grateful. But I have my job. I'm stretched too thin. That's your problem. How can you fail so badly at balancing work and family? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. Su Mingwei, do you even want this marriage anymore? Over their years of marriage, they'd had conflicts, but only minor spats. This was the first time she'd outright called him incompetent. Truth be told, I don't. Go ahead and file for divorce if you want. I've played the live and housekeeper for years. It's high time I step down. Let whoever wants the job take it. Qin Jianghai was struck speechless. He'd thought bringing up divorce would make Su Mingwei back down. Instead, she spoke the word plainly. Divorce was out of the question. Though he no longer cared for her and grew tired of seeing her every day, she kept the household running. Without Su Mingwei, who would look after their son? Who would care for his paralyzed father? Who would cook the meals, wash the clothes, mop the floors? Everything would fall apart. He would have no time for work, no time for his secret meetings with Su Na. It would all be chaos. Qin Jianghai steadied his temper and forced patience once more. Enough of this. Talk to me about whatever's bothering you, and I'll figure something out. It's the middle of the night. Let's not shout and wake the neighbors. The whole family cared deeply about appearances. Su Mingwei had mentioned divorce, yet she had no real intention of ending things right now. Earning anger, point rewards felt far too good. She was not leaving until she had squeezed more value out of this situation. Honey, tell me what's wrong. I'll fix it, I promise. Qin Jianghai's tone had softened completely. But Su Mingyue's heart remained unmoved. A man who cheats once will cheat again. He would never truly repent. Forgiving him would only leave her hurt. In her past life, she had died and sworn if she ever got a second chance, she would live for herself. This rebirth was too precious to throw away. She would not go back to how things were. Give me 20,000 yuan. Qin Jianghai's face darkened. What do you need that much money for? He could afford it, yet he hated parting with it for her. Household expenses only ran about 2,000 yuan a month. He feared she would waste such a large sum on pointless things. Money was hard earned. It ought to go toward worthwhile causes. What else? Feeding the whole family costs money. Your father's diapers are expensive. Each one costs several yuan, and he goes through 5 or 6 every single day. That adds up fast. The money you gave me before was nowhere near enough. At her words, Qin Jianghai's eyes drifted to her newly done hair. You wouldn't be short on cash if you didn't splurge. Mom told me you ran off to get your hair done today instead of doing chores. I didn't believe her until I saw it for myself. We're long-time spouses. Why waste money on trivial vanity? I don't care what you look like. Fine words, empty meaning. To him, she existed only to handle household chores. There was no need for her to look nice. Meanwhile, he kept a pretty woman on the side, possibly more than one. I just got my hair styled. You call that a waste? That was exactly what Qin Jianghai thought. A woman in her 40s had no business fussing over her appearance. It was throwing money away. Still, he saw her temper flaring and avoided pushing her further. If tensions escalated, the household would be in constant uproar. That would ruin his work and his time with Su Na. That's not what I meant. I just think at our age, we don't need to keep up with young girls' appearances. That money would be better saved for our son. College will cost money, and in a few years, his wedding and housing will demand huge sums. We are not wealthy. We ought to cut unnecessary spending and live practical lives. Su Mingwei cursed inwardly. Hypocrite. When he spent money on other women, he never worried about tight family finances. He gave barely 2,000 yuan monthly for household costs, scrimping on his parents, wife and child, while lavishing money on outsiders. How dare he lecture her? So are you going to give me the money or not? 20,000 yuan was a large amount. Qin Jianghai hesitated. He had the funds in his account, yet he hated handing it over. At the same time, He feared Su Mingwei would keep making a scene if he refused. Calm down. I'll transfer you 2,000 yuan right now. Once I get paid in a few days, I'll send you the rest. No. I want it now. She knew him all too well. Those promises would vanish once a few days passed. Annoyance flickered across Qin Jianghai's eyes. She had never acted like this before. She used to tend to everything at home without complaint. Now she was being unreasonable. 20,000 yuan for household groceries? That could not possibly be necessary. If I give you this money, how exactly do you plan to spend it? What else? Food and daily supplies for everyone. You only gave 2,000 yuan each month. I scraped by on that before. Why is asking for more such a problem? It all goes toward your family. Are you really so stingy? All right, don't get upset. That's not it at all. As long as everyone here is taken care of, I'm satisfied. I'll send the money over shortly. Reluctantly, Qin Jianghai picked up his phone, opened his banking app, and transferred 20,000 yuan to her account. When the payment notification popped up, Su Mingwei could barely suppress a smile. What would she do with the money? Treat herself, of course. Why let this scumbag's money go to his mistresses? She deserved compensation for decades of sacrifice. No sum could ever repay all she had given. Watching him suffer over the loss of money filled her with quiet satisfaction. After sending the transfer, Qin Jianghai expected the quarrel to end, and for the household to return to normal. He was badly mistaken. That night, Su Mingwei did not kick him out of the bedroom, yet she refused to share their quilt. She fetched a second blanket from the closet. They slept separately, each wrapped in their own cover. She lay with her back toward him, cold and distant. Though Qin Jianghai thought poorly of Su Mingwei these days, being rejected by her stung his male pride. He shifted closer toward her. Sensing his intent, Su Mingwei moved further away, putting distance between them. She would never let him near her again. Qin Jianghai frowned. What is wrong now? I'm not in the mood. Are you still mad at me? I truly have piles of work. This has nothing to do with your workload. I'm simply not interested. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 10. Early in their marriage, their relationship had been harmonious. But after their son was born, Qin Jianghai had openly criticized her body. Years had passed, yet Su Mingwei still remembered the look of disdain on his face and how deeply it wounded her self-respect. Physical intimacy between them had become extremely rare afterward. Perhaps that was when Qin Jianghai began seeking other women. Qin Jianghai burned with irritation but kept his temper in check. He had only just calmed her down. He dared not ruin the fragile peace. Still, being turned down galled him. He tolerated her worn out looks, and now she rejected him. He slept restlessly through the night. The next morning, Qin Jianghai got ready for work and saw Su Mingwei was still asleep. Normally at this hour, she would already be in the kitchen preparing breakfast for the whole family. Today she lay in bed as if nothing needed doing. Wake up, he called. Su Mingwei slowly opened her eyes, her tone listless. What is it? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 3. What is it? Look at the time. Wen Tao needs to go to school, and I have to get to work. What is everyone supposed to eat? Qin Jianghai had assumed sending 20,000 yuan the night before would restore everything to how it used to be. Instead, she ignored her usual responsibilities. Su Mingwei did not snap back. She climbed slowly out of bed, picked up her phone, and opened a food delivery app to place an order. We're out of groceries. I ordered takeout. Qin Jianghai disapproved. It's bad enough for us adults, but our son also gets takeout? Su Mingwei glanced at him indifferently. She had never said she ordered food for them. Without another word, she walked out of the room, leaving Qin Jianghai frustrated. Even after giving her money, she refused to cook. What exactly did she want? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 5. Walking toward the bathroom, Su Mingwei heard the system notification and felt pleased. Let him stay angry. This was only the beginning. Worse was yet to come. Wang Xiufang was already awake, sitting on the sofa. Chen Wenta had finished washing up and waited for breakfast. Su Mingwei took her time washing inside the single shared bathroom. Qin Jianghai had to wait outside. Time ticked by. Su Mingwei showed no hurry, while Qin Jianghai grew anxious. Chen Wentao grew nervous too. Normally breakfast awaited him each morning. Today there was no food, and his mother dawdled. He might be late for school. Wang Xiufang glanced at the wall clock, stood up, and called toward the bathroom. Su Mingwei, can you hurry up? Your son is going to be late for school. Stop dragging your feet. Su Mingwei stepped out of the bathroom after washing her face. She met her mother-in-law's words with a cold stare. Why is his lateness my problem? How is it not your problem? You slept in and made no breakfast. What is Wenta supposed to eat? You are his grandmother. Why don't you make something? Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 10 Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 10 Qin Jianghai had witnessed the whole exchange. He could only imagine how fierce their arguments had been when he was away. He stepped beside Su Mingwei and spoke irritably. Enough bickering. Mom is elderly. Why quarrel with her? Are you blind? Who started this fight? I was washing my face, and she shouted at me out of nowhere. Would you stay happy in that situation? Is Mom wrong? You slept in, and Wentao has nothing to eat. He can buy breakfast outside. There are plenty of food stalls. Is he helpless without me cooking for him? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 10, I gave you the money last night. What more do you want? Getting money does not mean I will go back to my old routine. I already told your mother. I am not lifting a finger for household chores anymore. Whoever wants to do them can take over. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20 Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 10. Wang Xiaofang sank heavily onto the sofa, furious. What sin did our family commit to bring a woman like you into our home? You sure make it sound simple. You brush aside every bit of effort I've poured into this family for more than 10 years. No one denies your past contributions. I just cannot understand what we have done to offend you. Jianghai works hard out there to earn money. Why can't you handle household chores at home? Everything was fine before. Why are you throwing the household into chaos all of a sudden? Qin Wentao checked the time. He was almost late. Grandma, Mom, please stop arguing. I'm leaving for school. I'll grab something to eat on the way. Wang Xiaofang felt terrible for her grandson. Are you even his birth mother? How can you neglect your own child? You have sacrificed a lot over the years, but no grievance justifies ignoring your son. Birth mother? Blood ties meant nothing to her now. Her past life had opened her eyes to all of them. She regretted not waking up sooner. If she had known what this family was truly like, she would never have married or had a child. Living alone would have been better. Chen Wentao grabbed his school bag and headed for the door. Just then Su Mingyue's phone rang. It was the delivery driver. She answered. Hello, your delivery has arrived. Thanks, leave it by the door. Hearing that food had arrived, Chen Wentao paused. He hoped to eat some of it. His pocket money had run low after eating noodles the previous evening. He did not want to spend more buying breakfast. Su Mingwei opened the front door and picked up the delivery bag. She set it on the dining table and unpacked the food. Qin Jianghai, Wang Xiaofang, and Qin Wentao all gathered around. They stared in surprise at the small amount of food inside the bag. There are so many of us. Is that all you ordered? Su Mingwei sat down, picked up an egg roll, and took a bite. She sipped her soybean milk through a straw. Yes, this is enough for me alone. Those words enraged the other three people. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 40. Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 45. Qin Wentao, anger value plus 50. Su Mingwei, you're going too far. I gave you money. You skip cooking in the morning and you only order takeout for yourself. What are the rest of us supposed to eat? Mom, Dad is right. That was really unfair. We are all family here. Wang Xiaofang boiled over. You are doing this on purpose. You want to make our lives miserable. Su Mingwei ate calmly. Think whatever you like. You all keep saying we are family. Why should only I do all the work for this household? We are not asking you to cook today. But you ordered takeout and left the rest of us out. Was that right? Maybe not. But seeing you all so upset makes me happy. Her tone sounded deliberately provoking. Once more, she infuriated the three of them. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 50. Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 50. Qin Wentao, anger value plus 50. Qin Jianghai seethed, yet he held back from shouting in front of his son. The boy needed to get to school, and he had to head to the office. Wentao, I'll transfer 50 yuan to you. Go buy breakfast outside. Stay out of this family mess and focus on your studies. Understood, Dad. This was beyond his power to fix. When he heard his mother-in-law and Su Mingwei quarreling, he felt as if his head was about to explode. All he wanted was to get away from this toxic household as fast as he could. After getting the money, Qin Wentao grabbed his school bag and left the house. Qin Jianghai glared furiously at Su Mingwei, who pretended not to notice and kept eating. It was almost time for work, and Qin Jianghai had no wish to stay home and argue with her right then. Mom, I'll order some food for you online. The delivery worker will leave it at the door, so remember to pick it up. Sigh, Wang Xiaofang sighed. Takeout food isn't clean. Who knows what goes into it? How can you eat that stuff? Don't be picky. Just make do with it for now. Very well then. Hurry off to work, don't be late. Before heading out, Qin Jianghai shot Su Mingwei another sharp look. Still, she paid him no mind, focused entirely on her food. Qin Jianghai, anger value +5. Once their son was gone, only Wang Xiufeng and Su Mingwei remained in the living room. Watching Su Mingwei eat heartily on her own, Wang Xiufeng burned with irritation. If this woman kept carrying on like this, there would be no peace in the family. Muffled grunts came from the small bedroom again. Wang Xiufeng stormed over, thoroughly annoyed. What now? Haven't you caused enough trouble for this household? Chen Kongjian opened his mouth toward her, his meaning plain. He had gotten no food the night before, and nothing that morning either. If this kept up, he would starve. Wang Xiufeng's temper flared higher. You want food again? Where am I supposed to get food for everyone? Apart from your daughter-in-law, none of us have eaten. What good is begging me for it? Stop making that noise. I told you there is nothing to eat. I haven't eaten either. Where am I supposed to find food? Just wait. With that, Wang Xiufeng stormed out of the room and slammed the door shut. Qin Kongjian seethed hearing her tone, yet he could do nothing. Lying bedridden, unable to move, he needed others even to feed him. His situation was dire. If no one tended to him, he might well starve alone in that room. Su Mingwei finished her breakfast and tossed the plastic bag onto the table. I'm done. Clean this up. I'm going out. Wang Xiufeng, anger value +20. Wang Xiufeng flew into a rage. Why should I clean up after you? You ate that, so why is it my job? What is wrong with asking you to tidy a little? For years I cooked all your meals and washed all your dirty clothes. Did I ever complain? Now you refuse to handle this tiny mess. You are the one ruining peace in this home. Su Mingwei, do not push your luck. Do not think your contributions give you free rein. Push us too far, and Jianghai will divorce you. This house and car were bought by our family. You will walk away with nothing. With your circumstances, what decent man do you think you could find afterward? Su Mingwei could not have cared less. Only you think your son is some great catch. In my eyes, he is nothing special. A divorce would happen sooner or later, but not just yet. Even though she already held several million yuan, Su Mingwei thought it was not enough. She had such a useful source of gain right here, it would be wasteful not to make the most of it. As for the future, Su Mingwei had no intention of remarrying. Money alone would be enough for her. What was the point of marriage? It brought no benefits to her. Wang Xiufeng, anger value +10. Hearing her own son belittled so openly, Wang Xiufeng burned with fury. In her view, Qin Jianghai had already made a bad match marrying Su Mingwei. She never imagined Su Mingwei would hold him in such contempt. Su Mingwei turned to leave, when Wang Xiufeng called after her. Where are you going again? What kind of wife stays out running around all day without doing any work at home? Su Mingwei spun around, her expression cold. What kind of mother-in-law sits idle while expecting everything from her daughter-in-law? You cannot even look after your own husband and dump all that work onto me. Does that make any sense? Even if you will not care for your father-in-law, what about Wentao? He is your own son. You still ought to handle household duties. I have already said I will not lift a finger for this family anymore. Last night your son gave me 20,000 yuan. I am going out to spend every bit of it. Wang Xiufeng, anger value +50. Have you lost your mind? 20,000 yuan is no small sum. You cannot just throw it away like that. Jianghai works hard for that money. He gave it to you to run this household, not for you to squander out in public. Do not lecture me. Bring it up with your son when he gets home. Once money is in my hands, it is mine. I may do whatever I please with it. Su Mingwei walked out and pulled the door shut, leaving Wang Xiufeng fuming alone inside. Wang Xiufeng felt she might be driven mad by this woman. Just then, grunting noises echoed once more from the small bedroom, stoking her temper even higher. She marched over and shouted at Qin Kongjian. What are you moaning about now? I told you there is no food. Quit that infernal noise. I grow sick of hearing you. Your daughter-in-law has lost her senses, thinking only of herself and refusing all household chores. Shouting at me solves nothing. If you had any strength left, you could get up and drag her back here to cook for you. You are good for nothing but eating and relieving yourself. Lying in bed, Qin Kongjian's face flushed with rage. He resented Su Mingwei, and he resented Wang Xiufeng too. He was Wang Xiufeng's husband. Ever since he fell ill, Wang Xiufeng had given him almost no proper care. These past 2 days she had changed his diapers only a handful of times, growing irritable each time. When feeding him, she never let him eat his fill. Nor was the daughter-in-law any good. She had performed all these duties dutifully before, yet now she refused to do a single thing. Confined to his room, he could still hear most of what unfolded in the house. That woman had not cooked breakfast this morning, ordering food only for herself, then heading out once she finished eating. The Chen family had fed and sheltered her. Was it not her duty to contribute to the household? Bringing home such a daughter-in-law was truly the family's misfortune. Still, Chen Kongjian secretly hoped Su Mingwei would return soon and go back to behaving as she once had. Helpless and bedridden, he could not tend to his own needs. Wang Xiufang lacked the patience to look after him. His son was busy with work, and his grandson attended school. Within this household, no one but Su Mingwei knew how to care for him. He had gone 2 meals without eating, carry on like this, and he really would starve. Outside the house, Su Mingwei checked her system panel. Her accumulated anger value stood at nearly 800. That translated to almost 8 million yuan in exchangeable funds. That money belonged to her, and she would leave it untouched for the time being. As for the 20,000 yuan Qin Jianghai had given her, she would spend all of it today. She saw no reason to save it for him. Su Mingwei arrived at a shopping mall. Her first thought was buying skincare sets for herself. After years of sacrificing for the family, her skin was in terrible condition, sallow and rough. Normally, she splashed water on her face each morning and slapped on cheap sachet packaged moisturizer. She had never properly cared for herself. Luxury skincare products had always been out of the question. What was more, the money Qin Jianghai gave her was never enough for such purchases. Inside the beauty care store, Su Mingwei picked out multiple full-size skincare sets, plus separate serums and face creams. Altogether, the bill ran into several thousand yuan. She paid without blinking an eye. Since it was not her own money, she felt no pain over the expense. Next, she headed to clothing stores and picked out several new outfits. In the past, she would wear the same clothes for years. Any spare money always went toward family needs. Carrying numerous shopping bags through the mall, Su Mingwei's mood lifted. Nothing compared to the joy money brought. Once upon a time, at this very hour, she would have been mopping floors, washing laundry, and preparing meals for the whole family. Now that she had new clothes, she noticed her figure did not quite measure up to them. After wandering around, she signed up for yoga classes, spending several thousand yuan more. She would invest both in skincare and physical fitness. She did not expect to regain the looks of her 20s, but she refused to stay in her current worn-down state. Checking her balance, she saw the 20,000 yuan from Qin Jianghai was nearly gone. Before leaving the mall, she ate at a restaurant and spent the very last of it. Back at home, Wang Xiufang ate the takeout food. Though the taste was passable, takeout tended to be heavy in oil and salt, bad for one's health. At her age, eating such food every day would surely bring on high blood pressure and other health issues. She did not eat much. What was left over, she fed to Chen Kongjian almost as an afterthought. Having gone hungry the night before, Chen Kongjian ate whatever was given to him. After feeding him, Wang Xiufang changed his diaper, grumbling non-stop the whole time, then left his bedroom. Su Mingwei returned home laden with shopping bags, looking thoroughly relaxed and pleased. Seeing all those bags, Wang Xiufang's expression darkened. She had hoped her son would put his foot down with this woman the previous night. Instead, he had transferred 20,000 yuan for her to waste. If you keep behaving like this family cannot go on. No amount of money can keep up with your reckless spending. Why is it acceptable for other men to buy nice things for their wives, but not your son? Tell him to reflect on his choices when he comes home. For so many years I bought almost nothing for myself. What is wrong with treating myself today? Do you have any idea how hard Jianghai works out there? I cannot speak to how hard he works, but he certainly devotes plenty of energy to matters outside this home. You, Su Mingwei. Your husband works himself to the bone, and instead of appreciating it you slander him. His late nights are all overtime, not spent with anyone else. I am not slandering anyone. I speak the truth. Your son simply refuses to admit it. He hides behind overtime as an excuse every time. Even if Wang Xiufang learned her son was unfaithful later on, she would undoubtedly side with Qin Jianghai and never speak a word in her daughter-in-law's defense. Wang Xiufang, anger value plus 10. She glared hard at Su Mingwei for several minutes. Something had to be done, or her son's hard-earned income would be squandered by this woman. Hand over the money Jianghai gave you. From now on I will manage the household funds, not you. Su Mingwei flopped casually onto the sofa, folding her arms. What money are you talking about? Do not play dumb. Every month Jianghai gives you money, plus the 20,000 yuan from last night. Hand over whatever is left. It is all gone. Just like that. Every last cent. The 2,000 yuan he gave me each month before all went toward household costs, leaving nothing saved. That 20,000 from last night bought skincare and clothes. Not a single yuan remains. If you want money, ask your son, not me. Wang Xiufang. Anger value plus 20. Wang Xiufang's heart ached from rage. Before Su Mingwei left, she had assumed the woman was only talking big and would not actually blow 20,000 yuan all at once. Yet she really had done exactly that. Furious, Wang Xiufang pointed at the shopping bags. Could those trivial items really cost 20,000 yuan? I think you have hidden the money away somewhere. You have been cooped up indoors too long. Look online and see for yourself how expensive skincare products are. A single set costs several thousand yuan. I did not even buy the priciest options. Otherwise 20,000 would not have been enough. Why cannot you use those cheap sachet, packaged products we already own? Throwing money away like this is foolish. How is it wasteful? When I look nicer, your son gets more respect from others. You are hardly a young girl. Why do you need to dress up so elaborately? Precisely because I am no longer young that I ought to make an effort. Young girls look good without trying. Wentao will go to university soon. Have you no thought of saving for him? Each person makes their own fortune. Why should I worry over his future? Besides, I have no job. How much could I possibly save anyway? Your son is the main provider of this family. That responsibility falls on him. You keep saying he works so tirelessly, surely his salary is substantial. He ought not to grudge this bit of spending. Wang Xiufang. Anger value plus 20. Wang Xiufang realized she could not win an argument against this woman. In the past Su Mingwei had obeyed every order without complaint. Now she rebelled against everything. She refused all household work and spent every cent she got. Only a day or two had passed, and the household was already in chaos. If she carried on this way, anyone would be driven out of their mind. Su Mingwei, can we sit down and talk properly? Wang Xiufang softened her tone. Though Su Mingwei's actions infuriated her, the family still needed her. If there was a divorce, Wang Xiufang was not certain Qin Jianghai could find another woman willing to bear such burdens. Someone might cook meals and wash clothes, but few women would willingly take on caring for Qin Kongjian. Very well, speak. I do not know what has happened to make you act against us like this. We are family. Tell us what troubles you, and we can work through it together. Do you intend to make everyone miserable with all this trouble making? Yes. Those two plain words reignited Wang Xiufang's fury. Wang Xiufang. Anger value plus 50. So you refuse to reconcile, and you simply want all of us to suffer? Does seeing us upset bring you joy? If that is how you choose to interpret it, I cannot stop you. I have already said my piece. I am not the one rejecting peace in this home, you are. What you call getting along means me continuing to do every chore around here. Why should only I bear all of it? You are also part of this household. All these years you have enjoyed an easy life, dumping even the care of your own husband onto me. Now that I refuse to go on like that, you claim I am picking fights. Where's the fairness in that? I am getting on in years. You are still young. Why cannot you do a little more? Heh, Su Mingwei let out a cold laugh. Was Wang Xiufang truly so old? Su Mingwei did not see it. In her past life, Su Mingwei had died in her 40s, yet these two elders had lived on for many more years. You make excuses for yourself. I have been married to Qin Jianghai for more than 10 years. From the day I stepped into this house, you never lifted a finger around the home, and you were far from elderly back then. All these years later, I still see no sign you are truly incapacitated. You were even capable of brandishing a knife once. How can ordinary housework be beyond you? Wang Xiufang froze, rendered speechless. Su Mingwei saw no point in wasting more breath. Wang Xiufang would never change. Enough. I have said all I need to say. You refuse to contribute to this family, yet demand everything from others. When I refuse to comply, I become the villain. As she stood to head for her room, Wang Xiufang called out once more. I acknowledge how much you have sacrificed for this family. We know you have had a hard time. But there must be a limit. How much longer will you keep this up? Depends on my mood. Su Mingwei. Wang Xiufang. Anger value plus 10. Do not shout my name. I have been out shopping all day and I am exhausted. I need rest. Keep your voice down or I will lash out. The bedroom door slammed shut. Wang Xiaofang pounded against the sofa and burst into tears. What sin have our family committed to be cursed with such a wicked woman? While working, Qin Jianghai's thoughts kept drifting back to his household troubles. Just thinking about Su Mingwei filled him with worry. Near the end of the workday, Su Na came over to him. Aren't you getting ready to leave? I might not be able to spend time with you tonight. Su Na's face fell at those words. Because of that woman at home? Qin Jianghai said nothing, yet his expression gave him away. Su Na knew full well Su Mingwei must be stirring up trouble again. What are you going to do about it? I was already upset when you rushed home last time. Now you are turning me down again. Displeasure colored her tone. Qin Jianghai wrapped an arm around her waist and spoke soothingly. Nana, I truly have family matters to attend to. It is not that I do not want to be with you. I wish I could stay with you every day. When are you going to get a divorce? Once you are divorced, we can be together openly. Up to now, their meetings had taken place in secret after work. Su Na had never told her family about their relationship. She grew tired of hiding all the time. Qin Jianghai shifted his gaze away. Though Su Mingwei had turned into a worn-out housewife who held no appeal for him, he had no real plans for divorce right now. His comfortable life outside the home depended entirely on Su Mingwei holding the household together. If they divorced, who would look after his father? Who would handle all the domestic chores? Su Na had soft, delicate hands, clearly unused to housework. She was also quick to lose her temper when things did not go her way. Living under the same roof with his family would surely spark endless conflicts. For the moment, the ideal outcome was for Su Mingwei to go back to her old ways, yet the woman was putting up fierce resistance, and that was exactly what weighed on his mind. Do not be impatient. I will figure something out. Give me a definite timeline. Must you push me like this? Su Na fell silent. Somehow it felt as though she was being painted as the unreasonable one. Seeing her mood sour, Qin Jianghai feared Su Na might grow cold toward him. Give me some time. I will sort everything out. You are the only one in my heart. I hate seeing you wronged. Hurry up then. A woman's youth does not last forever. How long am I supposed to wait? I promise. Qin Jianghai gave his word, yet inwardly he was deeply troubled. Household problems remained unresolved, and now Su Na pressed him for answers. He had no wish to divorce Su Mingwei, nor to part with Su Na. His preferred state was keeping the two sides balanced, with peace at home and happiness elsewhere. That was the best outcome he could imagine. When he got home in the evening, there was nothing on the dining table. It was what he had expected, yet Qin Jianghai still found himself blaming Su Mingwei. He had given her the money she asked for, but she still refused to get anything done around the house. You're back, Jianghai. Mom, haven't you had dinner yet? Wang Xiaofang's face darkened. Where's dinner going to come from? Your wife does nothing. She went out today and bought loads of useless cosmetics and clothes, spending every cent of the 20,000 yuan you gave her. Qin Jianghai's temper flared the moment he heard this. 20,000 yuan was no small sum. How could she spend it all in one go? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 10, is she home? She's in the bedroom. I'm going to talk to her. Qin Jianghai walked into the bedroom. Su Mingwei was leaning against the headboard scrolling on her phone. She did not even glance up as he stepped beside the bed. Are you done with all this? Su Mingwei slowly lifted her eyes. Why do you keep saying I'm stirring up trouble? What trouble have I caused? You asked for 20,000 yuan, and I gave it to you. You promised you'd spend it on the family. Mom just told me you went out and spent all of it. That's right. I said I'd spend it on the family. Am I not part of your family? Qin Jianghai was lost for words. That's not what I mean. I mean the money should go towards household needs. Cosmetics aren't necessary. We could have bought plenty of food and supplies for the house with that money. I think they're necessary. I haven't bought much for myself over all these years. What's wrong with going shopping once? I don't stop you from going shopping, but you can't blow such a large amount all at once. Working out there isn't easy for me. I don't even earn 20,000 yuan a month, and you spend it all in a single day. Does that make any sense? You ought to look inward and ask yourself why you haven't managed to earn over 20,000 yuan a month after working all these years, instead of complaining about how much I spend. He begrudges every penny spent on the family, yet he has no trouble splashing cash on another woman. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. You've never held a job, so you don't understand how tough work can be. Do you think I don't want to earn more? I'm worn out every single day from work. This back and forth has gone on long enough. Can't you just drop it? No, Su Mingwei, what exactly do you want? Will you only be satisfied if we get a divorce? You aren't young anymore, and our son is all grown up. Do you think any decent man would want you if you leave this family? Who said I want a divorce? I'm part of this household, so of course I intend to keep living here. Funny enough. She has several steady sources of money here. She would never be willing to leave so easily. If you know you're part of this family, why do you refuse to handle any household chores? Your father-in-law is bedridden, and you don't look after him. You don't cook meals, you don't even wash the laundry. This family isn't only made up of me. Why don't you do those things? I've slaved away for this home for years. It's about time I get to enjoy some rest. I have a job. I leave early and get home late every day. How am I supposed to take care of household matters? Your mother is at home, perfectly healthy. Let her do it. Ever since I married into this family, she has never lifted a finger, leaving everything to me. She wouldn't even care for her own husband and dumped all that work on her daughter-in-law. Is that how a mother-in-law ought to behave? Looking after Qin Jiankang had always been Su Mingyue's responsibility, and Wang Xiufeng had never helped out. Still, Qin Jianghai thought his own mother was in the right in every other regard. I know how hard caring for Dad has been for you, and I've always acknowledged everything you've done. Let's stop fighting, all right? Let's go back to how things were. No, Qin Jianghai. Anger value plus 20. Rage burned inside Qin Jianghai. Nothing he suggested worked, and he had no idea what she actually wanted. He was itching to snap at her, but losing his temper now would only make matters worse. All right then. How about I give you 3,000 yuan every month? Would that work? I have a suggestion. Give that 3,000 yuan to your mother. Let her take charge of all household work from now on. Your mom also said today I should hand over any remaining money to her and let her manage the family finances. Mom only said that out of frustration. Of course you should manage the household. Empty words. What you call managing the household means doing every single chore. If that's the case, I don't want the job anymore. Either you take over or let your mother do it. I'm not lifting a finger around here. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. He finally understood. Su Mingyue had no intention of filing for divorce, yet she refused to do housework and planned to stay in the house to upset them all. She was nothing like the considerate wife he had known for over a decade. How could you change into this person? After more than 10 years of marriage, I feel like I barely know you anymore. That's quite the question. If you want to know why I've changed, you should ask yourself. Put yourself in my position. Imagine I spent my time seeing other men outside the home, leaving you to cook, clean, and look after a disabled elder alone at home. Could you stay pleasant all the time? Would you never complain? Qin Jianghai frowned. Why bring up me seeing other women again? I've told you countless times that it isn't true. I was just working overtime. You don't need to explain yourself. Whether there's another woman, you know the truth, and so do I. Qin Jianghai fell silent. Her words unsettled him. He had thought he covered his tracks well, yet it sounded as if Su Mingyue knew something. She spent all day at home dealing with housework. She should not have had time to follow him. After thinking it over, Qin Jianghai convinced himself she was only guessing. As long as no concrete evidence was laid out before him, he would never admit to having an affair. It's really nothing. Don't let your imagination run wild. Su Mingyue had no desire to continue the conversation. Get out of the room. Qin Jianghai stood rooted to the spot. They had talked for ages and achieved nothing. What about household arrangements moving forward? Su Mingyue cut him off directly. I'll say it one more time. Whoever wants to do the chores can do them. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. He had wasted 20,000 yuan on her, yet she remained stubborn, acting as if everyone owed her something. While they were arguing in the bedroom, Qin Wentao came home from school. Qin Jianghai softened his expression when he saw his son. You're home, Wentao. Dad, is Mom still upset? Qin Jianghai did not reply. Qin Wentao took his silence as confirmation and sighed. What are we going to do from now on? I guess there's no dinner for us tonight. No one in the family had anything to eat. After some thought, Qin Jianghai decided they needed to go out. Let's head out for dinner first. Wang Xiufeng and Qin Wentao stood up from the sofa and followed him outside. In the past, they would have finished their dinner by this hour. As they walked downstairs, Wang Xiufeng sighed. We need to sort this out quickly. We can't keep eating out, it costs too much. Qin Jianghai knew eating at restaurants was far more expensive than cooking at home, but there was no other choice. With Su Mingyue refusing to cook, the whole family could not starve. When they reached the ground floor, they ran into a neighbor. Aunt Wang spotted the family heading out and greeted them. Jianghai heading somewhere? Qin Jianghai smiled and nodded. Yes, we're going out for dinner. Did you just finish your exercise? There was a small square in the neighborhood where groups of people gathered to dance every evening around 7. That's right. Dancing every day keeps me feeling energetic. Wait a minute, you're going out to eat, but where's Mingwei? She said she's tired and doesn't want to come with us. We can bring something back for her. I see. She must be worn out from all the housework. Aunt Wang did not suspect a thing. Jianhai, you have such a good wife. You work outside, and she keeps everything running smoothly at home. Not like my daughter-in-law, who's lazy and refuses to do anything. Chen Jianhai, anger value plus 10 Wang Xiufang, anger value plus 10. Anger flared up in both Chen Jianhai and Wang Xiufang. Su Mingwei had turned the household upside down, yet she had a great reputation among the neighbors, who all praised her. Still, Chen Jianhai could not air their family troubles in front of an outsider. Aunt Wang is too kind. We have to go now, you should head home too. All right, take care. Aunt Wang responded and walked upstairs. Wang Xiufang seethed with frustration. That Su Mingwei is such a good actress. She puts on a perfect front for the neighbors, yet throws her weight around at home. She dares to quarrel with everyone in this family. Chen Jianhai let out a long sigh. He had tried every kind word he could think of, but Su Mingwei would not listen. They arrived at a small restaurant outside the residential compound, and Chen Jianhai ordered a few simple dishes. Make do with this. Wentao, have you spent all the money you had? I only bought breakfast this morning. I still have a few dozen yuan left. I'll transfer you some more. You'll probably need to buy meals tomorrow as well. Chen Wentao fell quiet for a moment. Dad, are we going to keep living like this? I've talked to her and given her money, but your mother refuses to listen. I just can't understand why Mom has changed so suddenly. Wang Xiufang grew furious just thinking about Su Mingwei back home. She's lost her mind. She won't appreciate the peaceful life she has and stirs up constant trouble. She doesn't even care for her own son. I've never seen such a mother. Since their son was there, Chen Jianhai thought it best to prepare him for what might happen. Wentao, I want to ask you something. If your mother and I get divorced someday, who would you want to live with? Dad, of course. Chen Wentao answered without hesitation. He had weighed everything clearly. Staying with his father meant life would remain unchanged. He could keep living in this house with his father and grandmother. Apart from losing his mother around, nothing would shift. If he chose Su Mingwei, the future would be completely different. She had not worked for years and had no steady income. Life with her would be difficult. If she remarried and had another child later on, his position would become awkward. He did not need to hesitate. He would stand firmly on his father's side. Wang Xiufang was delighted by his answer. You're absolutely right, Wentao. If your parents can't carry on, staying with your father is the right choice. You're my grandson, and we will always take good care of you. No one can say what life would be like if you went with your mother. So, Dad, are you really planning to divorce Mom? Deep down, Chen Wentao hoped they could work things out. Even if Su Mingwei was throwing tantrums lately, she was still his mother. As long as there was no divorce, his family would stay whole. Chen Jianhai neither confirmed nor denied it. I'm just asking for your opinion for now. We haven't reached that point yet. But if your mother keeps carrying on like this, divorce will be inevitable. No one can put up with her constant outbursts. What exactly caused all this? Have you properly talked things through with Mom? If we know what she wants, we can try to satisfy her, and our whole family can get along well again. Wang Xiufang slammed her palm on the table. That stubborn woman refuses to listen to reason. Your father gave her the money she demanded, and she spent every last penny as soon as she got it. 20,000 yuan. That could feed our whole family for months. She wasted it all on useless things. I think she's going through menopause and only knows how to upset us. Wang Xiufang, anger value plus 10. Chen Wentao frowned deeply. Mom has gone too far. She doesn't earn money herself, and Dad supports the entire family. She doesn't appreciate how hard he works and spends money recklessly. Chen Wentao, anger value plus 10. After finishing their meal, they packed a portion of food to bring back for Chen Jiankang. Once they got home, Wang Xiufang could not bring herself to attend to the man in the small room. Jianhai, you're home today. Why don't you feed your father? Walking outside has made my head spin. I need to sit down and rest. Chen Jiankang's care had always fallen to someone else, so Chen Jianhai had never taken charge of it before. Since she had asked him to feed his father, he agreed. All right, I'll do it. Carrying the takeaway container, Chen Jianhai walked into Chen Jiankang's small bedroom. An unpleasant odor drifted out, making him wrinkle his nose. Chen Jiankang opened his mouth when he saw someone enter. He had been waiting for someone to bring him food for a long time. Dad, I've brought your dinner. To make feeding easier, Chen Jianhai poured the side dishes over the rice, mixed them together, and spooned the food into Chen Jiankong's mouth one bite at a time. Chen Jiankong was starving after waiting so long. He swallowed each mouthful and opened his mouth for more. Once all the food was gone, Chen Jianhai turned to leave the room. Chen Jiankong mumbled indistinctly. What's wrong, Dad? Chen Jiankong jerked his chin toward the blanket. Chen Jianhai leaned over and lifted the cover. A powerful stench rushed out, overwhelming him. He threw up the dinner he had just eaten. He stumbled out of the room at once and called to Wang Xiufang. Mom, Dad has soiled himself. You need to go check. Wang Xiufang's face paled when she heard that. Since he's dirty, you can change his nappy. She had done this a few times before and could not stand the smell. Chen Jianhai looked equally repulsed. Mom, I've never changed his nappy. I don't know how to do it. You can learn now. It's just like changing a young child's. Do what needs to be done. Chen Jianhai understood clearly. She wanted nothing to do with it. Yet he could not bring himself to touch the mess either. Just recalling the smell made his stomach churn. Wang Xiufang leaned against the sofa and pressed her forehead. My head started hurting after our walk. I wonder if my blood pressure is high. I should get it checked at the pharmacy sometime. Chen Jianhai could not tell whether she was genuinely unwell or pretending. She had never mentioned high blood pressure before. What was more, she had been full of energy complaining about Su Mingwei during dinner. Now that they were home and Chen Jiankong needed tending, she suddenly claimed to feel dizzy. It was hard not to suspect she was faking discomfort to avoid caring for him. Helpless, Chen Jianhai went back into the small room. He kept his nose pinched the whole time as he changed Chen Jiankong's nappy. He made up his mind. He should stay out later in the future. If he got home early, all these burdens would end up landing on him. He could keep saying he was working overtime, then he would not have to handle any of this. Chen Jiankong felt miserable. Life was harder than ever. His wife detested him, and his own son could barely stand to look after him. Su Mingwei stayed in the bedroom scrolling on her phone. She heard everything happening outside. She had thought the old woman doted on her son, yet she tried to pass off all responsibility for Chen Jiankong whenever she could instead of dealing with him herself. Every member of this family was the same. They all wanted to push the unpleasant chores onto their daughter-in-law. The moment she refused to carry on, everyone united to criticize her. While they were out for dinner, Su Mingwei kept hearing constant system notifications. They must have spent the whole time bad-mouthing her. She did not care in the slightest. She was earning money all the while, let them complain. As Chen Jianhai carried the rubbish out of the small room, he vomited again beside the bin. For a fleeting second, he understood Su Mingwei's position. She had dealt with this every single year, alongside cooking, cleaning, and laundry. No wonder resentment had built up inside her. Understanding did not erase his frustration, though. He still blamed her for abandoning all her responsibilities out of the blue. When he returned to the bedroom, he saw her casually watching short videos as if nothing was wrong. Anger welled up inside him. He wanted to reprimand her, but he had already said everything there was to say. Even giving her money had failed to make her back down. Chen Jianhai sighed, lay down on the bed and turned his back to her, seething silently. Chen Jianhai, anger value plus 10. Su Mingwei heard the system prompt. Seeing Chen Jianhai fuming yet powerless to do anything about it, she could not hold back a laugh. The sound made Chen Jianhai's brows knit tight. The household was in chaos and she dared to laugh. Chen Jianhai, anger value plus 20. Can you turn your phone volume down? I need to sleep early. I have work tomorrow. Su Mingwei paid him no heed. No one's forcing you to listen. Chen Jianhai, anger value plus 30. Am I supposed to be deaf? I can hear it whether I want to or not. Then go sleep somewhere else. Every room in this house is occupied. Where am I meant to go? You can easily find somewhere else to stay outside the house. You've checked into hotels before, haven't you? What stopped you this time? Her sarcasm irritated Chen Jianhai deeply. No matter what he said, she twisted the conversation to hint at his affair. This woman was impossible to reason with. Chen Jianhai, anger value plus 10. He rolled out of bed, pulled his clothes on and stormed out of the house in the middle of the night. He could not stay here any longer. If he remained, Su Mingwei would keep provoking him, and even his own mother tried to shift the burden of caring for his father onto him. Night had fallen long ago. Su Na was already asleep in her rental flat. She was shocked when Chen Jianhai turned up out of nowhere. They had met at hotels many times, but he had never come to her place late at night like this. His expression looked grim. Why have you come all of a sudden? I wanted to see you. You wouldn't show up if your family hadn't chased you out. Qin Jianghai frowned. It has nothing to do with anyone. I just wanted to see you. He moved closer, but Suna pushed him away. When are you going to sort out your family problems? Qin Jianghai had no answer to that question. Give me some time. I'll sort everything out. Suna did not believe a word he said. If you could sort things out, you wouldn't have rushed over to my place in the middle of the night. I'm sure your wife pushed you to the point where you couldn't stay at home anymore, right? I knew it. He had thought leaving home would make things easier, yet Suna was also treating him coldly. But he was already here. He couldn't just leave again to book a hotel room. He could only speak gently to persuade her. That woman is completely unreasonable. She's impossible to reason with. I don't even have the words to describe her. I really can't stay in that house any longer. Nana, don't put more pressure on me, okay? Give me a little more time. Trust me, I will settle everything. I've already given you plenty of time. I think the real issue isn't that you can't fix things, it's that you don't want to. I told you to divorce her ages ago, but you just won't let go. It's not that I'm reluctant. Someone needs to look after things at home, and our son is in the second year of high school. I'm afraid a divorce right now will disrupt his studies. We should wait until he starts university. What about me? Do I have endless time to wait? I've never told anyone about us from the very beginning. I've always known this situation isn't appropriate. Are you planning to keep me stuck like this forever? Suna felt wronged and unfairly treated. She was reasonably good looking, but her family was poor. She had no higher education and no specialized skills to earn a steady income. She struggled to make much money at the only job she could find. As the eldest child, she also had several younger siblings she needed to support. Suna never really liked Qin Jianghai, who was many years older than her. Still, he was the most generous man she had ever met. He gave her 10,000 yuan every month as spending money. Other men only wanted to take advantage without offering anything in return. If it weren't for the financial support, she would never choose to stay with this older man. Of course, I won't let you suffer. Just wait a little longer, maximum 1 year. Once our son enters university, I won't have so many things to worry about. Remember what you said. If you fail to keep your word, I won't speak to you ever again. I remember, I promise I will. On Sunday, Qin Jianghui went to Qin Jianghai's home. A few days earlier, she had listened to Wang Xiufeng cry over the phone, saying everything at home was in chaos, so she came to check on them. Tears welled up in Wang Xiufeng's eyes the moment she saw her daughter. Jianghui, you're here. Mom, what exactly happened? Everything was fine before. Tears streamed down Wang Xiufeng's face. Things used to be peaceful, but Su Mingwei suddenly changed completely. She refuses to take care of anything these days and quarrels with me constantly. Your brother is so upset he hardly comes home. Wen Tao and I end up eating takeout every day. She could talk endlessly about all the trouble Su Mingwei had caused. Even though Su Mingwei was in the bedroom, Wang Xiufeng spoke without any restraint. Now that her own daughter was here, she felt she had someone backing her up if another argument broke out. Qin Jianghui grew angry after hearing this. My sister-in-law has gone too far. We're all family. Brother has to work every day and she doesn't have a job. How can she refuse to handle any household chores? What is she not satisfied with? Sadly, she doesn't even care for her own son anymore. I've never met such a cold woman. A few days ago, she demanded 20,000 yuan from Jianghai and spent all of it in a single day. She treats our family like an endless source of money. Qin Jianghui's anger flared up further. What does brother say about this? What can he say? Work keeps him busy enough, and he often has to work overtime. He barely has time to deal with family matters. All this has been weighing heavily on him lately. Qin Jianghui glanced toward the closed bedroom door. The mother and daughter were talking loudly in the living room, so the person inside must have heard every word, yet there was no sound at all from the room. I'm going to talk to her. Qin Jianghui strode over to the bedroom door. Without knocking, she kicked it hard. Su Mingwei had been lazily scrolling on her phone. She had heard Qin Jianghui's footsteps approaching. She lifted her gaze to look at the furious woman who walked in. Sister-in-law, Mom says you've refused to do anything around the house these days and are deliberately upsetting them. Why are you acting like this? Our family has treated you well all these years. Brother doesn't require you to work. You only need to handle simple housework. What more could you want? You burst into the room without knocking. How rude, Qin Jianghui. Anger value plus 10. Qin Jianghui stared at her in shock. Her sister-in-law had never acted like this before. She used to be mild, mannered, and obedient, willing to do whatever she was told. Now she was openly snapping back. Did you just insult me? And what if I did? Am I wrong? You should knock before entering someone's room. That's basic courtesy. Don't blame me for speaking sharply when you kick the door open like that. I wouldn't have rushed over to confront you if you weren't upsetting Mom. I hadn't planned on coming today, but Mom cried to me on the phone. I didn't believe her at first, yet you truly have become impossible to communicate with. I just don't understand what our family did to displease you. Many married women have to hold down jobs on top of housework, but you don't need to work at all. Life at home should be easy for you. Mom is getting on in years and has her own hardships. Why do you keep picking fights with her? If life is so hard for her, you can take care of her from now on. You can also look after your bedridden father. I'll leave all of that to you. You want me to take care of them? Who else? You keep saying how difficult her life is, so you step up. They're your birth parents. They raised you and cared for you. Who should look after them if not you? I am not their daughter. Why should all these responsibilities fall on me? We lost her temper. Can you be reasonable? I've been married for years and have my own family. Honestly speaking, I'm only a guest when I come to brother's house. How can you suggest such a thing? Then you ought to remember you're a guest. Guests don't march in and order me around. You lack basic manners. If outsiders saw this, they would think you were never properly taught. Wei, anger value plus 50. Su Mingwei, I am trying to talk to you calmly. Are you wishing harm on my parents? I don't wish harm on anyone. If you hadn't stormed in uninvited, I would still be quietly resting in this room. You show me no respect, so why should I treat you politely? Who do you think you are? Hui's expression darkened. Mom was right. You really have lost your senses. You argue with everyone you meet. Then leave me alone. Wei, anger value plus 10 muttering angrily. Wei walked back to the sofa in the living room. That woman has completely lost her mind. Sigh. Wang Xiufang let out a long sigh. She had heard every word of their argument. This isn't the first time she's acted like this. We've been living through this every single day recently. We need to find a solution. Nobody can endure this constant conflict. The only solution we can think of is persuading your brother to divorce her. He should do it as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. This tension will drive us all crazy eventually. But who can guarantee brother will find someone better after a divorce? Putting everything else aside, your father's condition means most women would refuse to marry him. What's more, Wentao is in the second year of high school. A divorce at this time will inevitably affect his studies. Wei fell silent. Those were genuine concerns. Kongjian's health was extremely poor. He needed help with all daily activities. Even his own daughter could barely stand to stay in the stuffy room where he rested. Hardly anyone would volunteer to take on such a burden. She thought for a moment. Mom, what if we hire a housekeeper to look after him? As for Wentao, I don't think teenagers are that fragile. He's already 17 or 18. It's not the final year of senior high yet, so the impact shouldn't be too severe. Hiring a housekeeper costs money. Even someone inexperienced would demand 4,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. That would put massive pressure on your brother. Our whole family only spends 2,000 yuan on living expenses each month. Spending such a large sum on a caretaker makes my heart ache. I simply can't bear the cost. In Wang Xiufang's eyes, Kongjian was a burden. Providing him with food was more than enough. She saw no point spending extra money to hire someone for him. She would rather use that money on groceries. But there's no other option. We wanted to say that even she was unwilling to take care of him. So no one else would step forward without hiring help. Still, she knew her mother had endured a great deal of stress from Su Mingwei these days, so she held back any critical remarks. Midday arrived and no one had started preparing lunch. Mom, sit and rest. I'll order groceries on my phone and cook lunch. She could not count on Su Mingwei. She could not let her parents go hungry. Sigh. You come to visit and you still have to cook. That was all supposed to be Su Mingwei's job. She acts as if nothing is wrong. Wang Xiufang grew more irritated by the second. Su Mingwei remained in the bedroom and heard the system notification once again. Wang Xiufang, anger value plus 10. Wei was frustrated yet worried about her mother. Mom, don't get upset. It isn't worth ruining your health. Sit and watch television. I'll handle lunch. I'll only cook enough for Dad, you and me. I won't make anything for her. Shortly after she finished ordering groceries, Su Mingwei walked out of the bedroom carrying a takeout bag she had brought in from outside. Wei could tell at a glance that the portion was tiny, far from enough to feed the whole family. Su Mingwei, how selfish can you be? You refuse to cook for the family, and you only order takeout for yourself. Mom is here at home. Would it really cost you so much extra to order another portion? Must you treat your elders this coldly? Don't pretend you are so selfless. You were just planning to leave me out of the meal too. Don't apply double standards. Qin Jiangwei, anger value +10. Su Mingwei carried her takeout back into the bedroom and slammed the door shut hard. The loud bang sent a jolt through Qin Jiangwei. Wang Xiufeng pointed toward the bedroom. She's been acting exactly like this lately, constantly giving us the cold shoulder. Mom, I think brother needs to discuss divorce with her when he gets off work. The household will fall apart if things carry on like this. You worry about disrupting Wentao's studies, but from what I see, staying in this tense environment is far worse for him. How can anyone focus on school when they have to witness her constant outbursts every day? I'll talk to Jiang Hai when he comes home tonight. Very well. I'll wash the rice first and make extra portions so you can reheat leftovers tonight. All right. Once the groceries arrived, Qin Jiangwei prepared several extra dishes for them to reheat for dinner. Elderly people should not rely on takeout all the time. It was unhealthy. Since she had her own household matters to attend to, Qin Jiangwei did not stay long. She left shortly after finishing lunch. That evening, as soon as Qin Jianhai stepped through the front door, he smelled cooked food. Wang Xiufeng and Qin Wentao were sitting at the dining table eating dinner. A spark of hope rose in his heart. Could Su Mingwei have changed her attitude? Mom, did Mingwei make this meal? Why isn't she eating with you? Wang Xiufeng's expression turned cold instantly. Do you really think she would lift a finger to cook for us? All of this was prepared by Jiangwei. Qin Jianghai felt as though cold water had been poured over him. His hopes vanished immediately. Jiangwei came over today? Yes. She arrived at noon and cooked extra dishes for us to reheat this evening. Otherwise, Wentao and I would have had to go out to eat again. Disappointment crossed Qin Jianghai's face. He had hoped the family could return to how things used to be. Wang Xiufeng patted the empty seat beside her, ready to bring up the topic of divorce. Jianghai, sit down. We need to talk about something. Qin Jianghai took a seat. Go ahead, Mom. That woman cannot be reasoned with anymore. Things will never go back to normal. You should file for divorce. None of us will ever have peace otherwise. Qin Jianghai had considered this possibility before. I'm just worried about how it will affect Wentao's studies. That is a valid concern, but Jiangwei said something that made me think. Her endless quarrels are already disrupting him. Wentao is old enough now. I believe he can understand your choice. Qin Jianghai turned to look at his son, wanting to hear his thoughts. Qin Wentao wished he could keep his family intact, but he could accept a divorce if life truly became unbearable. Dad, if you have no other choice, you can get divorced. I will definitely stay with you. No one can stand Mom's current behavior. Divorce might be for the best. Perhaps once she hears you want to separate, she will calm down. Or if she struggles living alone, she might come back and behave like she used to. Qin Jianghai weighed his son's words. It seemed Wentao would not be an obstacle. But what about Dad? Who will look after him? Sigh, what difference does it make if she stays? She refuses to help care for him anyway. Even without a divorce, she won't lift a hand for your father. Her words made sense. As things stood now, there was little difference between being married and divorced. Su Mingwei contributed nothing to the household and only created friction for everyone. I understand. I will speak with her tonight. Su Mingwei was inside the bedroom and could hear every word of their conversation. Even after hearing her own son speak that way about her, she felt no sadness at all. Having lived through everything in her previous life, nothing could hurt her anymore. After Qin Jianghai entered the house, she continued scrolling on her phone without so much as glancing up at him. We need to talk. Say whatever you need to say. Su Mingwei, I want a divorce. All these days you have been stirring up trouble and turning this house upside down. I can't take it anymore. Mom and Wentao can't stand it either. Let's get divorced. You can do whatever you like, just stop causing problems for us. However, you cannot take any belongings from this house. Everything here belongs to my family, not you. Su Mingwei finally lifted her eyes away from her phone after hearing this. I refuse. Qin Jianghai froze. He had assumed she was waiting for him to bring up divorce. He never expected her refusal. What exactly do you want then? I don't know what I want right now, but I know I don't want a divorce. How can you be so heartless? We've been married for years, and you want to end it just like that? You're already treating me like an outsider before the divorce is finalized. Qin Jianghai, anger value +10. I'm heartless? Su Mingwei, can you be reasonable? You're the one constantly creating chaos and ruining everyone's peace. Why are you shifting all the blame onto me? I only acted this way because all of you pushed me to it. Every household chore was dumped on me. The moment I stop working, everyone calls me unreasonable. Your father is seriously ill, and even you, his own son, avoid looking after him. Mom does almost nothing around the house. For years, I handled everything. I only took a break for a few days, and all of you can't cope. Now you're saying I can't take anything when we separate. Does that mean all my years of hard work count for nothing? Where's your conscience? From what you're saying, you're unhappy with how assets would be split. Deep down, you just want to get money out of this before leaving. Su Mingwei let out a cold laugh. I have no interest in your small amount of money. I simply don't want a divorce. Chen Jianghai, anger value plus 20, how could I never notice how shameless you are? You call my savings insignificant? You have never held a paying job. What right do you have to speak like that? In his opinion, she would struggle to find work outside and would be lucky to earn 2,000 or 3,000 yuan each month. If you earn such a good income, why do you only give 2,000 yuan a month for household expenses? Or could it be that you're spending your money elsewhere? Chen Jianghai fell silent instantly. He dared not continue this line of discussion with Su Mingwei. He feared accidentally slipping up and putting himself in a weak position. You're just making things up out of nowhere. There is no one else. Why do you keep imagining things? Am I imagining things, or are you hiding something because you feel guilty? Chen Jianghai stood up abruptly. Talking to you is completely pointless. Then don't speak to me at all. When I decide I want a divorce, I will come to you. Until then, stay out of my sight. Su Mingwei checked her system panel. She had accumulated a decent sum, but it was still not enough. She hoped to gain more. Finding stable employment in her current situation would be difficult. She needed to save more funds to secure a better future for herself. Chen Jianghai seethed with frustration. Chen Jianghai, anger value plus 30, you refuse a divorce, yet you refuse to live peacefully with me. I think you're waiting to find another partner before agreeing to separate. Don't spread lies about me. You are the one who maintains separate connections outside this marriage, not me. The man was truly shameless. He built connections behind his family's back, yet dared to accuse her of seeking someone else. Wang Xiufang finished her meal and sat on the sofa outside waiting for Chen Jianghai to come out. She hoped her son would divorce that woman as soon as possible. After a while, Chen Jianghai walked out of the bedroom, looking gloomy. Mom, you're still awake? What happened? Chen Jianghai sat down on the sofa. She refuses to get a divorce. Wang Xiufang was so angry she fell silent for a moment. That wretched woman. She won't agree to a divorce, yet she refuses to live a proper life. What on earth does she want? Does she intend to drive us to our graves? I think she's refusing because she knows she won't get anything out of it. I told her just now that everything in this house belongs to our family, and she can't take a single thing away. That's definitely it. She's just trying to grab some benefits. But the house and the car were all bought by us. She didn't contribute a penny, so why should she get a share? She's lived here all these years, and we haven't even charged her rent. Why should we hand over our property to her? Jianghai, don't you soften your heart. Not an inch of this house can go to her. This is where our whole family lives. The car stays too. She won't walk away with even a cent. Chen Jianghai nodded. I know, Mom. I won't give her anything. Even without his mother reminding him, Chen Jianghai had no intention of handing valuable assets like the house and car over to Su Mingwei. They had been purchased through his family's hard work. Why give them to her? It was true she had taken care of many household matters over the years, but that was her duty. He had provided her with food and shelter, so doing housework was only right. His phone suddenly rang. Seeing the caller was Suna, Chen Jianghai quickly hung up. Wang Xiufang sat right beside him and noticed his action. She could not help feeling suspicious. Who's calling so late at night? A colleague. Probably something about work. Then why didn't you answer? He had not only declined the call but ended it in a hurry. Wang Xiufang found it hard to believe it was merely a work colleague. Mom, work hours are long over. We can deal with work matters tomorrow. I already have enough troubles at home. I don't want to handle work this late. Her son's explanation failed to convince her. She glanced toward Qin Wentao's room and lowered her voice. Tell me honestly. Are you seeing someone outside this marriage? No. Chen Jianghai denied it flatly. The family was already in chaos. Under no circumstances could anyone find out about Suna right now, or things would get far more complicated. Mom, Su Mingwei keeps letting her imagination run wild, but why are you starting to doubt me too? I wouldn't want to suspect you, but your reaction just now looks extremely suspicious. You hung up the second the call came in, as if you were afraid I'd hear something. If it was just a colleague, what is there to hide? You could have answered. I wouldn't interrupt. I said there's no one else. Stop overthinking and get some rest. Jianghai. Wang Xiufeng frowned. Su Mingwei has accused you of having another woman more than once, but I never believed you would do something like this. Wentao doesn't believe it either. Don't do anything that will disappoint him. Wentao is my precious grandson, and you only have this one son. Right now he's still on our side. If he finds out you've done something improper, he might no longer want to stay in this home. Qin Jianghai nodded. Don't worry, Mom. I'm swamped with work every day. I have no mind for anything else. I hope that's true. Don't think I talk too much, I'm just warning you. Go rest now. Alright. Wang Xiufeng then returned to her bedroom. Qin Jianghai remained sitting in the living room. He had no idea where to sleep for the night. Su Mingwei was in the bedroom. She could not stand him, and he felt the same about her. Yet if he kept going out, it would easily arouse suspicion. He flattened the cushions on the sofa. He would make do there for the night. He opened his phone again and saw dozens of messages from Su Na. If he had not rejected her call, she might not have bombarded him. But after he hung up, Su Na grew upset and kept sending messages. Why didn't you answer the phone? Who are you with right now? Is it that wife of yours stopping you from coming out? Say something. If you want to end things, just tell me straight instead of acting like this. Reply to me immediately. Qin Jianghai skimmed through the messages. His already frayed temper worsened. Why were women always so troublesome? Inside the changing room, Su Mingwei put on the yoga clothes she had just bought. Many women were already seated cross-legged on yoga mats in the yoga studio, with the instructor standing at the front. As soon as she walked in, numerous people turned to look at her. Su Mingwei felt embarrassed. After giving birth and neglecting her figure for years, her stomach hung loose, marked by unsightly stretch marks. Her body shape had long lost its former contour. The yoga suit clung to her body, laying all her flaws bare, making her want to hide. The other women present looked well maintained. Not everyone was slender, yet none looked like her. Su Mingwei walked to the back and sat down on a yoga mat. The yoga instructor spoke, and everyone got ready to begin. Su Mingwei had never practiced yoga before and signed up for the beginner class. All the movements they would learn today were basic. Advanced poses were far beyond her ability. The instructor demonstrated each pose first, and the rest followed. Once she started practicing, she realized even the simplest moves were challenging due to her lack of flexibility. She had done endless housework but never exercised. A slight sideways twist of her waist brought aching discomfort she could barely endure. Finally, they reached the break. A young woman sitting closest to her rubbed her waist and struck up a conversation. Sister, is this your first class too? Su Mingwei nodded. Yes. I've never exercised before. I'm struggling. I couldn't get those poses right earlier. Oh, same here. I sit in front of a computer all day and my body feels stiff. Even light exercise wears me out. These are only basic moves. I wonder how I'll manage harder ones later. Take it slow. I can practice at home too. Things will get better gradually. You're right. When the class ended, the other students left the studio. Su Mingwei was about to stand up and leave when the yoga instructor walked over to her. You're Su Mingwei, aren't you? Yes. I noticed you seemed hesitant during class. Is something bothering you? Su Mingwei glanced down at her stomach and pinched the loose skin, looking awkward. Instructor, look at my figure. Every woman here is in better shape. I almost didn't dare walk in when I arrived. Jiang Yuan did not laugh at her. She nodded gently. We all face hardships as women, and I understand. But if you've decided to change, don't fear others' stares. Progress may be slow, yet you will improve as long as you persist every day. From their brief talk, Jiang Yuan could guess Su Mingwei was going through difficulties in life. She would not have sought change otherwise. Still, she did not pry into other people's private affairs. Su Mingwei was encouraged by her words. You're right. I should focus on myself and pay no mind to others' glances. That's the spirit. Instructor, do you think my skin can improve? More than a decade had passed since she gave birth. She might not have ended up like this if she had taken care of herself back then. Jiang Yuan offered an objective answer. It's been many years, hasn't it? I won't lie and say the marks can disappear completely, but improvement is possible. It was the answer she expected. Though a little disappointed, she could accept it. She had lived with this for years anyway. I see. Any improvement is good enough. Thank you, instructor. You're welcome. Keep practicing at home. I will. As soon as she stepped out of the yoga studio, Qin Jianghai called. Su Mingwei rejected the call the moment she saw his name. She had nothing to say to him. Qin Jianghai called again. She answered irritably. What now? Where have you been? Mom fell down the stairs by accident today and is in hospital right now. You don't even bother coming to check on her. A neighbor was the one who phoned me. Su Mingwei was annoyed by his tone. I was out. How could I know she fell? Did I push her? You're her own son. What were you doing? Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. How can you be so cold-hearted? Even with conflicts between family members, you shouldn't abandon her. What if something fatal had happened? Are you happy Mom is lying in a hospital bed? I'm not happy about it, and I won't take your blame. You already brought up divorce, and Mom has been plotting against me with you. Your whole family schemes behind my back. What more do you expect from me? If I were the one injured and stuck in hospital, would any of you look after me? Qin Jianghai flew into a rage and hung up. Lying on the hospital bed, Wang Xiufeng heard their conversation and wore a scowl. That woman wishes I'd die sooner. Mom, don't let her get to you. Focus on recovering first. Wang Xiufeng shifted slightly, a sharp pain shooting through her leg. This bone injury means I'll have to stay in bed for days. Your father's still at home. Remember to go check on him. I know. Qin Jianghai was overwhelmed with irritation. He had work to handle. He needed to calm Suna down. His mother was hospitalized. His paralyzed father waited at home for care, and his son still had school. Every burden rested solely on his shoulders. Su Mingwei took no responsibility and wandered off somewhere. She spoke to him in such a hostile manner over the phone. Just thinking about it enraged him. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20. Su Mingwei carried a food container into the ward. Qin Jianghai was not there. Only Wang Xiufeng lay on the bed. Wang Xiufeng shot her a hostile look the second she saw her. Her voice turned icy. What are you doing here? What else? I brought you food. I dare not eat food from you. I'm afraid you'll poison me. You overestimate yourself. Do you think I'd risk my own future just to harm you? Wang Xiufeng, anger value plus 30 you. Did you come here on purpose to agitate me? Wang Xiufeng struggled to sit up, but the pain in her leg forced her back down. Think whatever you want. The food is here. Eat it or leave it. If you want to eat, get up yourself. Don't expect me to feed you. Wang Xiufeng, anger value plus 10 Qin Jianghai returned from the restroom just in time to hear those words. Su Mingwei, can you see Mom is injured and confined to bed? How can you tell her to get up and eat alone? What are you trying to do? Why can't she get up to eat? It's just a fall. How serious can it be? When I was discharged after giving birth to Wen Tao, she made me get up and cook right away. I had to wash the baby's clothes too. In freezing weather, she wouldn't let me use hot water, forcing me to soak my hands in cold water. When I said I was cold, she called me troublesome. Don't expect me to wait on her now. Feed her yourself if you want. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 20, that was ages ago. Why do you still hold on to it? How can you be so petty? You think I'm petty because it never happened to you. If we swapped places, you wouldn't be half as forgiving as I am. Su Mingwei did not want to cling to old grievances, yet all that pain and unfairness had been endured by her alone. No one understood. A nurse heard the commotion in the ward and came over. Please keep your voices down. Other patients in neighboring rooms need rest. Silence briefly fell over the ward. Qin Jianghai walked to Wang Xiufeng's side, helped her sit up, propped 2 pillows behind her back, unfolded the bedside table, and opened the food container. When he lifted the lid, all he saw was plain congee. He assumed there were side dishes underneath, so he lifted the small bowl holding congee, only to find the bottom compartment empty. That meant she had only brought a bowl of plain congee for the injured patient. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 10. Su Mingwei, Mom has fractured bones. You expect her to survive on plain congee? What's wrong with plain congee? When I was in confinement after having Wen Tao, your mother fed me nothing but plain congee, claiming it was nutritious. Now she's sick, and I specially brought her plain congee to nourish her. Is there any problem with that? It all happened years ago. Must you bear a grudge this long? Giving birth isn't an illness. You ate plenty while pregnant, and plain congee after delivery could help you lose weight. She did that for your own good. Mom has a leg fracture now. How can she recover without proper nutrition? Then you buy food for her yourself. I'm leaving. Su Mingwei turned and walked out of the ward without looking back. Qin Jianghai, anger value plus 50. Qin Jianghai stared furiously at the ward doorway for a long time. Mom, rest first. I'll go buy you some proper meals and be right back. Wang Xiufeng let out a cold snort. I knew it. That woman wants me to suffer. She's dropped all pretenses now. Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 10. Mom, don't let her anger you. Recovery is the priority. I'll be back soon. As soon as Qin Jiangwei heard her mother was hospitalized, she rushed over. She walked into the ward and saw Wang Xiaofang lying on the bed. Mom, what happened exactly? It's nothing serious. I slipped and hurt my leg bone. Hurting a bone is far from trivial. How could you be so careless? Where is Su Mingwei? She can't even come visit when you're hospitalized. What deep grudge does she hold? Wang Xiaofang, anger value plus 10. Mentioning that name ignited Wang Xiaofang's temper. Don't bring up that wretched woman. She came once today and brought only a bowl of plain congee, saying it would nourish me. Qin Jiangwei, anger value plus 50. She's going too far. Plain congee as nourishment? I never thought she could be this cruel. She stirs up trouble at home, and now she refuses to care for you after your injury. How can her heart be so hard? Sigh. I wonder what sins our family committed to end up with such a daughter-in-law. Mom, has Brother Jiang brought up divorce again? After everything that's happened, push for it. Staying married will only let her torment you further. Your brother already talked to her, but she refuses. Refuses? What is she aiming for? She ignores household duties and rejects divorce. Is she deliberately making everyone miserable? I suspect she wants the house. I can't think of any other reason. What? That's absolutely impossible. The house belongs to our family. She can't get a share. Not just the house, she can't take anything. She hasn't worked a single day all these years and earned no money of her own. She deserves nothing. Your brother and I think the same, yet she refuses to agree. Every day she either scrolls on her phone or goes out wandering, doing nothing but upsetting us. That woman. Qin Jiangwei, anger value plus 10. I'll find time to talk to her. This matter needs to be resolved quickly. We can't keep dragging on like this. Talking won't work. We've already said everything we can. You've seen what she's like. She flies into a rage after a few words, and no one can control her. I still have to try. Otherwise, you'll keep suffering. Though Qin Jiangwei had her own family, she cared deeply about matters in her birth home. If Su Mingwei had remained the way she used to be, Qin Jiangwei would not have worried. But that woman had completely changed. Qin Jiangwei had been thinking about this ever since her last visit. She had waited for news of the divorce, only to receive a call from Qin Jianghai saying their mother had fallen and was hospitalized. If Qin Jianghai had not told her Su Mingwei was not present when the accident happened, she would have suspected Su Mingwei pushed her mother. Shortly after Su Mingwei returned home, Qin Jiangwei came to see her. She skipped small talk and got straight to the point. You refuse to divorce just to get this house. I suggest you abandon that idea right now. You haven't worked or earned money all these years. The house was bought by the Qin family. It has nothing to do with you. I've told you already. I don't want any property. Su Mingwei glanced around the room with disdain. I wouldn't take this shabby house even if you gave it to me for free. She already possessed more than 10 million. She could buy 4 or 5 houses far nicer than this one. She stayed only to keep gaining anger points and earn money. Qin Jiangwei sneered. Oomph. I never knew you could be so hypocritical. You want money badly yet pretend you don't. Your family won't back you up. Where will you go once you leave here? You probably can't even afford rent, yet you still refuse to admit the truth. You can believe whatever you want. Qin Jiangwei looked frustrated. Su Mingwei, is this getting you anywhere? If this marriage can't go on any longer, separating sooner will be better for everyone. What right do you have, an outsider, to meddle here? Qin Jianghai is my elder brother. Everyone living in this house is my family. How could I stand by and do nothing? Then look after them. Leave me out of it. I'm not part of your family. But you're the one refusing to get a divorce. So what if I am? You hit the nail on the head. I want this house. Hand this property over to me, and I'll agree to the divorce. You finally admitted it, haven't you? Let me tell you, don't even dream about it. This house belongs to the Qin family, and no one can take it away. You haven't earned a penny all these years. We've fed and housed you for all this time, and we haven't even asked you to compensate my brother. How dare you demand the house? My parents live here. What would happen to them if we gave it to you? You'd better forget this idea entirely. Then there's nothing more to talk about. I won't file for divorce, and we can just drag this out forever. You. Qin Jiangwei, anger plus 20. Su Mingwei, you're truly unreasonable and shameless. Do you think we can't do anything about you? Think whatever you want. Bring whatever you've got and get out of my sight if you've got nothing else to say. You're annoying me. How can you treat your own family like this? Aren't you afraid of facing consequences later? If anyone deserves consequences, it's all of you, ganging up to bully me. Who's bullying you? You're the one constantly throwing tantrums. Mom's laid up in hospital after getting hurt, and you, her daughter-in-law, won't stay by her side to care for her. All you brought her was plain congee, claiming it's nutritious. My brother already wants a divorce, and even Wentao has no objections. You're refusing to agree just to torment us on purpose. Fine, everything you said is true. I've slaved away for this family for years. How could I accept a divorce with nothing to show for it? If I can't live well, none of you get to either. Qin Jianghui, anger plus 30. While she was still at the hospital, Qin Jianghui had planned to talk things through calmly with this woman. She'd intended to hear what conditions Su Mingwei wanted and agree to anything reasonable. But they'd gotten nowhere, and she'd worked herself into a fury. Wang Xiufang was lying in the hospital bed. When she saw her daughter come back, she immediately asked how the discussion had gone. How did it go? Did she agree? Mom, you were right. That woman wants our family house. She admitted it herself. She said she'll only agree to divorce if we give this house to her. I knew she had ulterior motives. But I'd fight to my last breath before letting her have this house. The Qin family bought this place, and we all live here. Where would we go if we handed it over? She didn't contribute a cent, yet she has the gall to make such a demand. Shameless. What do we do now? Qin Jianghui couldn't think of any better plan. After a long pause. Mom, what if we go to her parents' house and talk this over, make them take her back? Wang Xiufang rejected the idea without hesitation. No, don't try that. Her family is impossible to deal with. Her mother is a quarrelsome, unreasonable woman. Cross her and you'll regret it. If she finds out about the divorce, she'll definitely try to squeeze a large sum of money out of us, and we'll only end up with more trouble. Nothing works then. Are we just supposed to let her have her way and keep dragging this on? Let me think. Just talking about her gives me a headache. Mom, try not to dwell on this right now. Your health comes first. Focus on recovering. Everything else can wait. There must be a solution. Chen Wentao came to the hospital after school that evening. Grandma, how are you feeling? Wang Xiufang forced a smile. Her legs still ached, but she didn't want her condition to distract her grandson from his studies. Don't worry too much. It's just a fall, nothing serious. I'll be discharged in a few days. Keep up with your schoolwork, and don't concern yourself with anything else. That's a relief. Have you eaten? I already had something. Have you had your dinner, Wentao? I grabbed a snack on the way home from school to tide me over. Sigh, you've had such a hard time. I don't even know what to say about your mother. I'm injured and stuck in hospital, and she couldn't even say a kind word. All she brought me was plain congee, saying it was nutritious. When we brought up the divorce, she refused outright. She wants this house handed over before she'll split up with your father. Qin Wentao, anger plus 10. Qin Wentao felt a surge of irritation hearing this. How could Mom do something like this? She didn't buy this house. Where would all of us live if we gave it to her? Qin Wentao knew full well that the house belonged to the Qin family. As the only grandson, it would be his one day. Naturally, he was unwilling to let anyone take it, not even his own mother. She already neglected everything at home. Even if she got the house, she wouldn't consider him. If she took ownership, she might remarry and have another child someday, and then the house would belong to outsiders. Qin Wentao couldn't bear the thought. Wentao, rest assured. She will never get this house. You're the only grandson of the Qin family. This home will belong to you in the end. I know, Grandma. Don't stress over this. Focus on resting. Wang Xiufang spent more than 10 days in hospital before she was ready to be discharged. The fractured bone in her leg hadn't fully healed, but her condition had improved enough that she no longer needed inpatient care. She could recover at home. On discharge day, Qin Jianghui and Qin Jianghai were both there. The brother and sister helped her into the car. Qin Jianghai had lost several kilos over those 2 weeks. He juggled work, hospital visits, and caring for his paralyzed father at home. He was rushing between multiple places every day, often skipping meals. Qin Jianghui visited often, but she had her own family to look after and couldn't stay every day. Most of the burden fell on him. As soon as Wang Xiufang sat down in the back seat, she felt something sharp prick her. She ran her palm over the seat and picked up an earring. Wang Xiufang's expression darkened instantly. Jianghai, whose is this? Su Mingwei spent most of her time doing housework at home. She barely went out except to buy groceries, and she never wore jewelry. This earring definitely belonged to someone else. Qin Jianghai hesitated, unwilling to admit the truth. Maybe a coworker dropped it when I gave her a ride last time. Once, he'd abruptly hung up a phone call at home, and Wang Xiufang had grown suspicious back then. Finding this earring in the car only confirmed her suspicions. Tell me the truth. Are you seeing another woman? Chen Jiangwei noticed something off in her elder brother's demeanor, the way his eyes started away. She found his explanation hard to believe. It was unlikely a coworker would lose an earring during a single car ride. Earrings didn't fall off that easily. Mom, there's really no one. You're still lying to me. I sensed something was wrong that day. What kind of work call can't you answer? Now we find this in your car. Who is this woman? Brother, what's really going on? There's no one else here. You can talk to us. We're on your side. Su Mingwei has become bitter and difficult to live with. I can understand why you'd seek companionship elsewhere. Wang Xiufang pressed him further. Is there someone or not? I'm your own mother. What can't you tell me? Would I ever harm you? Mom, can you leave this matter alone? Chen Jianghai's words amounted to an admission. Does she know you have a family? She does. If she knows you're married and still chooses to get close to you, she can't be a trustworthy person. Cut off contact with her immediately. She must be after something from you. Mom, I said leave this alone. Let me drive you home so you can rest. How can I leave it alone? If word gets out among us, it's one thing, but if Su Mingwei finds out, she'll hold this over your head. Earlier, Jiang Wei spoke with her, and she admitted she'll agree to divorce only if we give her the house. If Su Mingwei learns you've been seeing someone else, you'll be the at-fault party and lose your negotiating position. I've never let her find any evidence. She only makes wild guesses. As long as the two of you keep quiet, she'll never know. Sigh. Wang Xiufang was overwhelmed with worry. Dealing with Su Mingwei was already exhausting enough, and now there was another woman in the picture. Anyone who pursues a married man must have ulterior motives, most likely money. Chen Jiangwei chimed in to comfort her. Mom, don't overthink it. We just need to keep this hidden from Su Mingwei. I can understand brother's situation too. Living with someone as unpleasant as her every day must be draining. With all the pressure from work, it's understandable he'd want some relief. What I worry about is Wen Tao's reaction. Su Mingwei once accused Jianghai of seeing another woman during an argument, and neither Wen Tao nor I believed her back then. Now it turns out it's true. If Wen Tao finds out, will he still look up to you as his father? Chen Jianghai knitted his brows tightly and exhaled smoke out the car window. This must stay hidden from Wen Tao and from everyone. But you keep staying out late. Wen Tao will figure it out sooner or later. I'll tell him a few months after the divorce. Once we're separated, there's nothing wrong with me looking for someone new. I believe Wen Tao will understand. Wang Xiufang and Chen Jiangwei exchanged a glance. It seemed they had no other choice for now. The household was already chaotic enough. If this secret came out, everything would get far worse. Su Mingwei would use this leverage to fight harder for the house. We won't say anything for the time being, but you need to be more careful and stop staying out so often. I know. Between hospital visits and staying home lately, Chen Jianghai hadn't had much chance to meet Su Na. She was probably growing frustrated waiting for him. Chen Jianghai and Chen Jiangwei helped Wang Xiufang walk into the house, and they ran straight into Su Mingwei, who was pouring water in the living room. Su Mingwei held her cup and glanced over at them. Well, you're home from hospital already? Wang Xiufang, anger plus 20, Chen Jianghai, anger plus 30, Chen Jiangwei, anger plus 30, Su Mingwei. What do you mean by that? Are you unhappy mom's health is improving? That's not what I meant. I was wondering why she's being discharged so soon after fracturing a bone. Why not stay longer until she's fully recovered? She still needs 2 people to support her when she walks. If she hasn't healed properly, she might end up back in hospital. The doctor said she can recover at home. You sound like you're wishing something bad would happen to Mom. I don't. You're just overreacting. Can't you be less sensitive? Chen Jianghai, anger plus 10. She clearly meant exactly what they thought, yet she pretended others were imagining things. If she truly cared about Wang Xiufang's recovery, she wouldn't have only visited once during all those hospital days, upset Mom, and then never returned. Su Mingwei carried her cup back into the bedroom and tossed a takeout bag out the door. Take this trash out when you head out. Chen Jiangwei, anger plus 10, Chen Jianghai, anger plus 10. Su Mingwei, do you have any decency at all? Mom just got home and needs care. You won't lift a finger to help, yet you expect us to take out your rubbish. How can someone be this lazy? Take it out if you want. Leave it there to rot if you don't. We'll see who breaks first. With that, Su Mingwei slammed the bedroom door shut. Chen Jianghai, anger plus 20, I can't spend another single day living like this. Chen Jiangwei understood her brother's predicament. If the divorce didn't go through, None of the family would ever have peace. Brother, if she keeps refusing to agree, hire a lawyer and start formal legal proceedings. We have to protect the house no matter what. Wang Xiufang agreed with her daughter. Jianghui is right. Su Mingwei never earned any income in this household. We cannot give her the house, yet she refuses to divorce without it. We can't keep letting this drag on. Qin Jianghai thought it over and saw the logic. Jianghui, if you have time these days, could you come over more often to look after mom? I need to sort out the divorce. Once everything is settled, I won't need to trouble you anymore. Qin Jianghui would never turn her back on her family in trouble. Of course I can. I'll shuttle between my home and here as often as needed. We need to push the divorce forward quickly. The longer this drags on, the riskier it gets. Both Qin Jianghai and Wang Xiufang understood what she was implying. Su Mingwei must never discover his secret, otherwise she would stir up even more trouble. Inside the bedroom, Su Mingwei heard every word they said. System, they're planning to hire a lawyer. Don't worry. As I told you, as long as you refuse to divorce, he cannot end this marriage. Just wait and see. No one had prepared lunch for the family, and midday was approaching. Jianghui, stay here and look after mom for a moment. I'm heading out to buy some food. All right. Before leaving, Qin Jianghai spotted the rubbish bag on the floor. He frowned, but bent down to pick it up to throw away downstairs. Qin Jianghai, anger plus 10. Su Mingwei wouldn't take care of anything. He couldn't leave garbage sitting inside to go rancid. Still, he was filled with resentment and muttered complaints under his breath the whole time.